Podcast Doesn't Exist. Welcome to episode 67, the 67th edition, the trade deadline fiasco, boy. Was it a trade deadline for the probably best trade deadline of the year, I would say. More trades than I thought. Best trade so far? Some people in the trade deadline, but it's the move you didn't make. Is the right move. But just to recap all the trades, if you want to know who got traded, I'll tell you right now who got traded. Luis Arraez goes to the Phillies. Fuck, I already fucked it up. I was giving a clap. Luis Arraez is on the move. Kevin Gausman's heading to Toronto. He's going to be the Cub. Cubs also get Clay Holmes and Tyrone Taylor. Also Ryan Zeferhan and Bragsick Garrett from the Marlins. So the Cubs, if you're a Cubs fan and you were thinking, man, we need pitchers, they got pitchers. That's definitely what the Cubs needed. That's what they got, not to mention Tyrone Taylor from the Mets. And the Mets, the entire team, and traded everyone they could. The Marlins also traded some guys. I thought the Marlins were going to buy, Mitch.
And then they didn't.
They sold some players, but no one too big. I mean, Liam Hicks to the Rays, Jack's Rays. He stays in Florida, low taxes, loves that for Hicks. Liam is very excited to be a Ray now. Toronto gives up Gausman. They also trade Dalton Varsho to the Astros. By the way, Astros on the first place team right now. Come on. They won't.
From third to first this week.
They refuse to stop being the juggernaut they are. The Astros refuse to lose. They get another player. No pitchers for the Astros, though, which is weird. But, yeah, Toronto trades Gausman. They also trade Jeff Hoffman, but they get Josh Smith and Josh Steven, two Joshes. Josh and Drake and Josh. Josh and Josh. Two Joshes. One Josh I'm not aware of, but one is Josh Smith. They get Josh Smith, and they also get Jose Soriano from the Angels. They also get Jameson Taillon. So weird deadline for the fucking Blue Jays. But what are you going to do? Spencer Artegetti, he goes to the Blue Jays as well, which is, what are you going to do? Astros trade a pitcher even though they needed pitchers. What are you going to do? The White Sox go all in. Luis Castillo's a White Sox. First time in his history, he's not going to pitch for the Mariners. I guess he really didn't like that six-man rotation shit. He probably demanded a trade. Get me out of here. He's going to the White Sox. White Sox get Oscar Barrazo. That's not his name. Brazoban. Brenton Doyle. Joey Bart leaves the Braves. And he goes to the White Sox. But the White Sox also had to give up some guys. Sir Anthony Dominguez, that's their closer for a little bit. He's gone. Nolan Jones, we didn't know he was on the White Sox, but he no longer is on the White Sox. I guess he technically never played for the White Sox, but he was in the system. Traded his ass. Traded another catching prospect to Boston. Speaking of Boston, wow. We'll get to Boston later, but big moves in Boston. So Mariners get Taylor Ward as well. Baltimore, they blew it up. Rangers tried to trade Jacob deGrom. Jacob deGrom wasn't fucking having it. He said, no, Rangers for life. Rangers assemble. I will die a Ranger. I refuse to leave Texas Rangers. Everyone wants to stay in Texas. I believe they traded damn near nobody. Lane Thomas gets traded in the middle of a game. Goes to our Braves. Him and Bailey Falter, welcome to Atlanta. Braves also get Tyler Malley.
Rhymes with a rally.
Yep. And Brett Suter. So a couple pitchers coming to the Braves. Their rivals, the Mets. Mets blow it up. They get rid of Oscar Brazoban. They trade Brooks Raley to the Phillies. Luke Weaver. You're going to the Pirates. AJ Minter. Get up, Minter. He's going to the Twins. New York Mets trade Freddie Peralta as well to Jack's Rays. For the first time ever, the Rays, probably the biggest splash in Rays history that I can remember. A trade deadline acquisition. They're usually selling motherfuckers. Now they're buying them. They're also getting Tyler Wells from the Orioles, who also blew it up, bro. The Orioles blew it up bigger than anyone. We got to do a moment of silence for the Orioles young core back from 2022 because Adley Rutschman is gone. Who else was on that core? DL Hall, that guy. I just saw a picture of that guy. I wouldn't even include him because I forgot about him. And then the guy on the Angels who doesn't pitch. What a good baseball podcast. Who are the three guys? Just forgot three names in a row. Fucking Rodriguez.
I kept thinking Mitch was going to come in.
No, I was about to say Sandoval, but that's the wrong dude. Sandoval went from the Angels.
His name is Rodriguez.
Grayson Rodriguez.
The Orioles. They got rid of Rutschman. They got rid of Dean Kramer. Taylor Ward is gone from the Orioles. Adley Rutschman is out of there. What are you going to do? The Orioles are retooling. They also get Eli White from the Braves. That was the Boston Red Sox got Eli White. So the Braves are getting rid of Eli White, even though he hit so many clutch home runs when we needed him most. He won us the NASCAR game.
His helmet's in the Hall of Fame.
Respect it. Respect it. Boston also gets Jake Rogers, man. Boston, they're shipping a lot of guys up to Boston right now. Also trade Marcelo Meyer. So that's another core explosion. Marcelo Meyer goes to the Giants for Eric Miller. That surprised the hell out of me. The Giants, speaking of bombs, they blow it up. Luis Ariz, how many bombs so far this up?
I don't know. It's getting a little exhausting, but
Well, shut the fuck up, man. No one asked you. The viewers love it. Luis Ariz,
I didn't
gone.
realize mine was different. Sorry.
Eric Miller, gone. Robbie Ray, gone to the Padres. Helio Ramos, gone to the Yankees. The Yankees, they had some big boys. Luis Garcia Jr. is going to the Yankees. Sorry, Nats fans. You sold. Camilo Duvall leaves the Yankees. He goes to the Pirates. And the Pirates had relievers this year. Luke Weaver and Camilo Duvall and Lake Bachar for the buzzer beater. Another guy the Marlins decided to get rid of. And now Mitchell's adding in a little note here. The Kirby Yates from the Angels also goes to the Pirates. So the Pirates really wanted relievers. They got him. 3-4 relievers for the Pirates. Also, other trades in that division. The Brewers added Bo Naylor. Dustin May goes from interdivision rival Cardinals to interdivision friendly. Dustin May goes from one rival to another. He was in the Cardinals. Now he's on the Brewers to shore up that rotation. Curtis Mead. Sorry, I got to also mention Anthony Senzatella goes to the Brewers as well. So the Brewers go for starters this year. Are they worried about Mizorowski? His arm falling off? Why do they need starters? They got the Miz kid. Time will tell. You never know. A gentleman never shows his cards. And the Brewers, second best team in baseball right now. Gentlemen. The Nationals sell. Luis Garcia's gone. Curtis Mead is gone. Foster Griffin got traded. That one surprised me. He goes to the Guardians. So the Guardians, best. You thought the Guardians needed hitters. They said, actually, reverse. We need another pitcher. They get Foster Griffin. And at the very last second, the San Diego Padres get Casey Mize from the Detroit Tigers. He is a San Diego Padre. And then also, last but not least, the trade of all trades this year, Tarek Skubal is a Los Angeles Dodger, man. So going into the week, we all were wondering, what's going to happen to Scoobs? You know, should the Dodgers trade for him? Should the Pirates trade for him? Maybe the Rockies go for him. Everybody wanted Skubal, but the question was, did the Tigers want to get rid of Skubal? That was the question. There was a lot of reasons why they shouldn't have traded him. Honestly, I think, Mitchell, you were on my team. I was going for pro Tigers keep Scoobs.
Yeah, I was definitely thinking the Tigers should keep.
And as the week went on, it became more and more obvious the Tigers themselves were more anti-keep Scoobs. We're going to flip Scoobs. But going into the since June 1st, 32-20. Second best record in the AL since June 1st. They're 3.5 games back of a playoff spot. That's going into the week. Then on Wednesday, they start Tarek Skubal. He starts a game for the Tigers, ends up pitching his last game at home. So the Tigers get a 7-0 lead, right? All these games are super important because it's basically them saying, if you guys win, we'll keep Skubal. If you keep losing, we're going to trade Skubal. Leaves the game in the 7th with a 7-1 lead, gets a standing ovation, and the Tigers blow the frickin' game. End up losing to the Orioles. Then later that week, a couple days later, Jeff Passan goes on ESPN, says Skubal will get traded, puts his balls in the line, said, I swear to you, Skubal's going to get traded. Says the Dodgers are the favorites, and that's what happened. The Los Angeles Dodgers, the rich get richer. They get Tarek Skubal, back-to-back Cy Young winner. Who do they give up for him? Barely jack shit, according to the masses on the internet. One of them is Zaire Hope. Zaire Hope, 21-year-old prospect, 25th ranked prospect in baseball. So this is like the cornerstone piece of this trade. The best prospect in the trade, probably the best prospect in the trade deadline, right, Mitch? I mean, can you think of, definitely, for sure. No higher ranked prospect got moved at the deadline.
Yeah, I don't think any higher prospect went.
This is number 1. And then River Ryan from the Dodgers, who is 68th in MLB's top 100. The guy's 28 years old. He's pitched in MLB 4 games. He's older than Juan Soto.
Yeah, he's older than Soto.
And somehow he's still a prospect because he has 4 MLB games. He goes to Detroit. I mean, he's probably going to start pitching immediately, right? Maybe he just got.
I have to imagine he's been pitching at AAA all year.
And then also Brady Smith, who is the Dodgers' 17th ranked prospect. So the Dodgers give up not even one of their top 5 prospects for Tarek Skubal, who is a back-to-back Cy Young winner with an ERA under 3, is about to become the richest pitcher in baseball history, and the Dodgers add him for what to them is peanuts. And this is kind of the reason why everyone thinks baseball is completely broken right now and the Dodgers need to be sent to the gulag, or we need a 13-year lockout to make sure that the Dodgers can never play again, because it wasn't really much of a competition. So Zaire Hope, 25th ranked prospect in baseball, the Dodgers, he was number 5 in the Dodgers prospect list. The Dodgers have 4 prospects in the top 25 other than him. So just goes to show you the Dodgers on the major league level are number 1 by far. Even in the minor league level, they're ranked 2nd in farm system. So the rich get richer. And the question is, why do the Dodgers have so many damn prospects? Is because they have Freddie Freeman, Shohei Ohtani, Teoscar Hernandez, Max Muncy, Kyle Tucker, Tommy Edman, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Roki Sasaki, Glasnow, Snell. All these guys they got in free agency. They didn't have to give up a single prospect for any of these guys. So what the fuck did they need prospects for in the first place?
They've also acquired a bunch of prospects. Hope and Ryan were all from trade, both from trades from other teams. So the Dodgers are not only great at drafting, great at not needing to trade a bunch of prospects when they don't have to, and also great at acquiring prospects. Zaire Hope was acquired from Michael Busch a few years ago when it was clear that the Dodgers didn't have room for Michael Busch. The Dodgers got River Ryan for Matt Beattie when they didn't need Matt Beattie. So they're just really good at acquiring prospects.
You could argue, the Michael Busch trade was a bad trade. Michael Busch is amazing at the major league level already.
At that point, though, the Dodgers knew, we have no space for
exactly. But that's
Michael Busch.
That's back to my original point, which I didn't articulate well. It's like the prospects. Any other organization can't get rid of their number 1 prospect without really, for 6 months of Tarek Skubal, obviously, because everyone wanted Skubal. No one was even able to come close to offering a deal as good as the Dodgers, and the Dodgers didn't have to give anyone because Zaire Hope to the Dodgers is literally worthless to them. He's an outfielder who's a beast, but they have 3 outfielders who are all-stars right now.
And he was not even the top outfield prospect in the system, or the second best outfield prospect in the system.
Yeah.
Or the third best outfield prospect in the system.
So that's how you do it. That's how you ruin the sport of baseball. And the Dodgers currently are ruining the sport of baseball. According to many, so the Dodgers as it stands right now, according to Sarah Langs, the Dodgers are the first team ever to have a reigning back-to-back Cy Young winner and a reigning back-to-back MVP winner on the same team. That is Shohei Ohtani and Tarek Skubal. According to Spot Track, the Dodgers' estimated end-of-the-year luxury tax bill, $180 million. So the Dodgers are going to pay more in taxes this year than the average team payroll. More than 16 individual teams' payrolls are less than what the Dodgers are paying in taxes. They also currently have the best starting rotation in baseball history. I think that is undisputed. Now, I can't even think of a number 2, but if someone can give me a starting rotation that's better than Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, Tarek Skubal, Shohei Ohtani, and Yamamoto, yeah, I'll wait. So the Dodgers right now, 2nd best ERA in baseball by starting pitchers, and they're adding 4 Cy Young awards to it. And that is Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, and Tarek Skubal. So they're the 2nd best starting pitching staff without Blake Snell, without Taylor Glasnow, without Tarek Skubal. 3 more pitchers are coming into the 2nd best pitching staff in baseball, which would make them the projected best starting pitching staff in baseball. Justin Robletsky, who was an all-star this year, 2.88 ERA, 6th best starter on the team. He's not even going to be a starter on the team. He's probably going to the bullpen. Roki Sasaki, He's done pretty good since he's got that big glove, right, Mitch?
He's done really well.
He's the 7th best starter on the fucking team. That's another thing. I was thinking going into this, if they're going to get Skubal on the Dodgers, they're going to have to give up Teoscar, Roki. Like, this is a deal I could think would work for the Tigers.
People thought for sure they were going to have to send Emmett Sheehan to Detroit. He's still a Dodger. They sent him to the minors.
Why do they even want him, bro? He's just another starter. We don't even need starters. The Dodgers starting rotation right now is making more money than the Guardians and Marlins entire rosters combined. Okay, so including taxes, the Dodgers' payroll right now, $429 million. That's 2 times higher than half of the teams in the league. $179 million in taxes. That's more than 12 entire teams. I think I said 16 entire teams earlier. So I don't know why that's different, but what are you going to fucking do? You know what I'm saying? If you came for facts, go to ChatGPT, bro. What do I look like? A computer?
No, you don't look like a computer.
I'm a man. I'm not a computer. All I'm trying to say is that the Dodgers are the best team in baseball. Is it good for the sport? Is it bad for the sport? To be honest, I'm going to let the people at home decide that. What I know is right now, the Dodgers, after winning back-to-back World Series, this is who they added since then. Edwin Diaz, arguably the best reliever over the past 5 years. Kyle Tucker, one of the best outfielders over the past 5 years. And Tarek Skubal, probably the best pitcher of the past 5 years. Edwin Diaz, Kyle Tucker, and Tarek Skubal on top of what already was a World Series roster. Not to mention, they also got Chris Bubik at the deadline.
Yeah, what was up with that?
Underrated deal. So Chris Bubik, if you thought the Dodgers didn't have enough starting pitching, this guy who last year had a 2.55 ERA, was an all-star last year, is also going to the Dodgers for their 8th starter or 9th starter, Chris Bubik. Give it up for Chris Bubik. Bubik, you piece of shit. You're a fucking Dodger, bro. No one fucks with the Dodgers anymore. I actually hate the Dodgers now. I think this was the last straw for me with the Dodgers. I can't root for him. I used to kind of root for him because of Shohei, but I really can't root for him. Not that I was actually rooting for him, but like I didn't hate to see the Dodgers win, really. But now I think it is every baseball fan's responsibility to root against the Dodgers at this point. It is. And I don't want to come out here and say the Dodgers themselves are evil and that they're ruining baseball. I don't even necessarily believe that to be true. Looking back at the history of baseball, when you had the Yankees dominating, I don't think that was bad for baseball. And if you look at payrolls, I think their payroll was like way more out of whack than the Dodgers are right now compared to other teams. However, when a team gets everything they could ever ask for wrapped in one, and not only do you have back-to-back World Series, the greatest athlete on earth, you also get the top pitcher in baseball at the deadline and don't even have to give up a top 5 prospect. I mean, what is this wealth in disparity, bro? We got to take down the 1%, dude. It is what it is. The Dodgers have broken baseball. I will say, though, this does make me a little worried that maybe Shohei could not pitch again for the rest of the season. That's why they added 2 starters.
Yeah, no, I think that's a reasonable concern because he hasn't touched a baseball, apparently. I was listening to Baseball Tonight while doing the research for this podcast, and he hasn't thrown since whenever they shut him down, 2 weeks ago at this point? And the farther you go without him throwing, the longer it's going to take for him to ramp up. I mean, they could use him as a reliever, possibly, in short doses or as an opener. But I definitely think it's interesting that the Dodgers went out. They got Skubal, and then they got Bubik, and they have all of these starting pitchers coming back from the IL. Does Ohtani have a rotation spot?
Yeah, I mean, really. So you got Yamamoto, Snell, Glasnow, Skubal, and then Ohtani in there too.
And the thing about the playoffs is like you only really need 3 starting pitchers, maybe 4. You don't need 5, and you definitely don't need 6.
They have 9: Gavin Stone, Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, Stone. I wouldn't even put him in there. I don't even know why I said his name. Snell, Glasnow, Bubik, an all-star last year. Sheehan, Robletzky's all-star this year. And then Skubal, Yamamoto, Sasaki, and Ohtani. Unfreaking believable. You got to respect it at a certain level, but I do think at this point, all of us need to start putting our heads together and seeing what kind of hate and animosity we can spew towards the Dodgers any moment possible to make sure they do not win another World Series.
I think it should have started with the Tigers getting more for Skubal. They made this trade 48 hours before the trade deadline. They had plenty of time to be like, okay, we're going to sleep on this offer. Actually, could you give us another prospect? And, getting the 25th ranked MLB prospect for a guy who's going to be a free agent at the end of the year, that is pretty good. But I think the Tigers had room to get greedier and they didn't.
But that's the thing. I see what you mean because this deal happened on Saturday. Deadline wasn't until Monday. But it was at a certain point, I think, and if you look at the reports, the Dodgers were basically competing against themselves in this trade. There was no other offers coming in that were going to compete with the Dodgers because, like we said, no one has the farm system like them. Or there's probably farm systems that are on par with the Dodgers farm system, but no one's able to expend them like the Dodgers can. No one wants to give up the top prospect in the organization or even a top 5 prospect in the organization for 6 months of Tarek Skubal. The Dodgers are the only team where that makes perfect sense. They'd be stupid not to make this deal. Unfortunately, there's an argument to be made that they have broken baseball. Baseball is now completely broken because of the Dodgers.
I do think the argument when it comes to like adding a salary cap or whatever, it doesn't really apply here because Skubal is a trade. I think, the Dodgers had more cushion when it comes to their farm system to trade top prospects compared to like the Brewers or the Rays. But in this particular case, it's not like there was a literal bidding war on Tarek Skubal. That's going to come in 4 months. But in this specific case, I don't think.
I mean, but wouldn't it? This still adds to their payroll. If there was a salary cap and you got to add $32 million to the Dodgers, wouldn't have been able to make this trade.
But it's like 10. It is less money, and I think if there was a salary cap, you move money around. Like, sure, they didn't have to like trade.
I guess we're not going to get into the whole salary cap discussion right now. But what the fuck are they going to do if they do a salary cap and the Dodgers are like, okay, now you can only spend this much? It's like we already spent it. Like, what if they ban? The Dodgers have over $1 billion in deferred money. If they make some rule that like you're not allowed to defer that much money, Dodgers are like, well, too late. Bitch.
I mean, I'm sure there's like
too late, bitch. We already spent $14 billion on the best baseball team ever assembled, and we have unlimited money machine with Shohei Ohtani. The entire country of Japan is giving us fucking Venmo. We're Venmo requesting them. They're getting just.
When was the last time you saw an ad behind Dodger Stadium that was in English?
Dude, they have unlimited money. And then did you see this shit that's going around now that my man June Lee made a video about a while back of the Dodgers when they went bankrupt in like the 90s? The MLB gave them this deal that like basically their TV deal isn't taxed. They get $66 million of extra money a year on their TV deal because 3 owners ago went fucking bankrupt.
That is like one thing where I agree with the masses of fans that needs to be revoked. I think it's ridiculous that you have the richest team in baseball and you're giving them a tax cut on the richest TV deal in baseball because the McCourts went bankrupt when I was 8.
A lot of conspiracy theories, man. I mean, I wouldn't even put it past the owners. Say like, listen, we don't want Skubal, trade Skubal for nothing. Make sure the Dodgers don't lose a single game this playoff so that entire public is on the owner's side and getting a salary cap in place. Well, at the end of the day, the Dodgers, you got to give them a round of applause for making the big move and going for it. Now, they're not the only team that went for it. There's a lot of other teams that are going for it. I mean, the Cubs made some big moves. Even the Padres made some moves. The Boston Red Sox made the biggest moves. A mascot on a scooter broke a player. Can we play this video real quick? I think this is probably actually more important news. This fucking mascot named Dinger, the Sacramento River Cats. Little do you know there's 2 teams in Sacramento. Mascots riding a scooter around the stadium for their Christmas in July promotion. Guess who comes out of the dugout? Alex Thomas. Watch it. Boom! Alec Thomas having a tough year, gets demoted and gets destroyed by a mascot, completely broken. Another player, speaking of scooters, fucking Harrison Bader crashed a scooter into a car, broke his leg, out for the season. Allegedly, he was drunk. Now they don't want to pay him the money, which sucks because I don't think he's going to be able to be driving drunk on scooters anymore, which is one of the, greatest pleasures in life.
I mean,
is
he
getting on
knows
a
it
live,
very well.
getting on a live scooter drunk. We'll cover that later, but that's another interesting topic to cover because he might lose millions of dollars for this, which is unfortunate. And my thoughts and prayers are with him. Curtis Mead broke his hand, a massive trade piece. Speaking of the Boston Red Sox trade pieces, that went bad. His hand is in pieces. Player broke an unwritten rule. A fight broke out in the middle of a rainstorm, and a squirrel broke into the field in the middle of a game. Play the squirrel video.
Hold on.
Because the squirrel video got buried after all this trade nonsense. But on Monday, this is everything anyone could talk about. There was a squirrel that ran on the field. It snuck onto the field in the 6th inning against an Orioles-Tigers game, ran across the warning track, runs into the outfield. The game stopped, and the Orioles brought in a reliever. So when the game stopped, everyone started checking the squirrel. The squirrel then goes onto the infield. Then at one point, there was a bird with the scooter, not a scooter, with the squirrel. There was a mourning dove and a squirrel on the field at the same time, a squirrel and a mourning dove. Then he fucking comes into the third base coach, starts feeding the squirrel. The squirrel gets like too close to the field, starts hanging out in the third on deck circle, the third baseline. Then it runs into the outfield. Eventually, they got to stop the game and try to chase the squirrel down. All these grounds crew members are trying to contain the squirrel in the corner. They all try to throw these towels at the squirrel. Then Leody Tavares himself tries to scoop the squirrel out of the stadium with his glove. And see, if you see, there's just a lot of guys going after the squirrel who's pretty much juking everybody because he's got 4 legs and he's a small squirrel. This guy touches the squirrel, tries to get him twice, 3 times, can't get the squirrel. Finally, he puts juked him, then finally comes in and gets the squirrel out of there. No, he couldn't even get the squirrel. This guy gets the squirrel. Boom, got the squirrel. The squirrel gets taken home. The fans boo the grounds crew because they got rid of the squirrel. The umpire then announces that the squirrel has been taken care of, and thanking the grounds crew. Then he gets booed, and then the Baltimore Banner reports that according to Tigers spokesperson, the squirrel is fine, in fine health and released. I kind of doubt it. I bet.
Do you think that's like a farm upstate kind of response?
I don't know what you just said, but yeah.
Like when your dog dies, you send him up to a farm upstate.
Oh yeah. I mean, they should try to either kill the squirrel and skin it, or taxidermy the squirrel, put it on display, or turn it into a mascot, domesticate the squirrel.
Put him on the Lions. Add another running back for Gibbs.
Trade him to the Dodgers.
You could, the Dodgers, they got enough. But I mean, I would kill the squirrel. You guys are actually wanting this. Kill the squirrel and put him up for the fans to see. The fans.
What are you, fucking Caesar?
I'm just saying, dude, the Tigers got rid of a lot of players this deadline. They lost their star pitcher. They lost their other star pitcher. They got to keep something. They got to keep the fans interested somehow. Maybe.
You're saying rage bait them.
You do a little bit of rage bait. Either kill the squirrel and taxidermy it or turn it into a pet.
So
That's
your ideal of a zoo is just taxidermied animals.
Listen,
there's
dude.
no in between.
Listen, bro, I'm saying if the squirrel's still alive and you can domesticate it, I'm all for that. But I have a good feeling that that squirrel didn't make it home. How are you going to, I guess they might have just put him out back. But if that squirrel comes back the next day or in a later game, maybe that's how the Tigers rally around and get past this whole Skubal debacle. Rally squirrel. But let's move on to Harrison Bader, who was feeling like a squirrel on a Lime scooter. He's been out since May 29th with plantar fasciitis. And if you're having plantar fasciitis, please stay away from the scooters. So last Thursday, a Twitter user named Freddie, Playoff Yankees, he said he bought a Bader jersey. Then he ran into Scooter. That's his new name. We're going to start calling him Scooter. Harrison Scooter. Ran into Harrison Scooter on the... So basically, before this happened, there was a video of Bader riding a scooter. A fan pulled up with him, found the scooter. Later reports came out that Bader had crashed his scooter into a fire truck around 2 a.m. Then a local news affiliate affiliate cited multiple witnesses said that Bader was drinking at bars across the city preceding the incident. So we put together these 3 pieces of information. We got a video of him on a Lime scooter. We got a report that he crashed the Lime scooter, and we got reports that he's drinking at bars. You know, you can put the 3 together and say the guy's addicted to scootering drunk. Well, maybe not scootering drunk, but scootering in general. And maybe if you get drunk, you want to ride a scooter. Who amongst us? And maybe you hit the back of a ambulance and you're out for the season. Well, that's what happened to Bader. Bader is now currently out for the season. Now, Tony Vitello says he was already going to be out for the season. The scooter thing was just bad timing. The plantar fasciitis is what really got him. We'll see. We don't really know. We do know in 2014, he was suspended 19 games at Florida because he fucking crashed a scooter under the influence. So this is his second scooter crash in his career, which is concerning. We might have to do a, what's the word I'm looking for? Take him to scooter rehab?
Yeah, like bring him to a scooter intervention.
Yeah, an intervention for him. Medi, we got to take his phone away from him. Ban the Lime app. No more scooter app for you, dude. But listen, I feel for him because I do love riding a Lime scooter. You feel like a cowboy. It's like the only time you really feel free in this life, bro. I feel you, Bader. So he crashes the fucking scooter. Unfortunately, the Giants are now opening an investigation on him to get the details because I guess according to your contract, you're not allowed to drive a scooter drunk. And if you get caught, if you get injured while doing the scooter and you can't play because of the scooter crash, they don't have to pay you. So the Giants right now are refusing to pay the remaining $1.45 million left on his salary this year and reportedly would like to void the $10 million that is owed in 2027 too. So he is in big trouble over this scooter incident. They don't want to trade Bader. The Giants don't want to pay anybody right now. So the Giants just got swept by the Padres. They've fallen 18 games below 500. They are 22 games back of first place. So this deadline, the big thing with the Tigers or the Giants was who can we get rid of? We'll get rid of anybody for anything because a lot of these guys have a lot of money in those contracts that they would like to spend elsewhere. And they do get rid of a lot. Now, the team that really benefited from this was the Phillies. So the Phillies, they started this week with a big rift with Bryce Harper in the front office. If you remember correctly, they've had a problem since last offseason. I'm talking about Dave Dombrowski, the president of baseball operations, and Bryce Harper, their star player. They came into this week facing the Marlins, and the Marlins, as we know, had a 12-game losing streak. They were shit, biggest losing streak in franchise history during that stretch. They were last in runs, last in average, last in on-base percentage, last in hits. Then they play the Phillies and sweep their fucking ass. So the Phillies get swept by the Marlins, thanks to Griffin Conine, who hit a pinch hit bomb to complete the sweep. And during this sweep, Bryce Harper comes out and says, quote, "I think we need some help." Doesn't exactly say what the Phillies need. Says, that's a Dave question when asked what the Phillies need. Basically calling out the front office saying, Dave Dombrowski, make a frickin' trade. We need some players. Dave Dombrowski last season said he didn't think Harper was elite. After the season, Harper responded by wearing a t-shirt that said, quote, "not elite." In spring training, he said he didn't understand Dombrowski's comments and he didn't find them motivating at all. So according to Matt Geib, how do you say it?
I'm pretty sure this is Gelb, but it could be Gelb.
Okay. Well, according to Matt Gelb, writer for The Athletic, he says that Philly has been in the midst of a 10-month Cold War because of this tension between Bryce Harper and the front office. After these quotes, Don Mattingly, the manager, comes out and says, when you say something about our team, then you're saying something about one of our players that you don't like. Guys want to be GMs without a real understanding of where the organization is, exactly where this thing goes. So the manager comes down on Bryce Harper, basically saying, shut the frick up, bro. You're making us look bad. Now, Bryce Harper has a point, though. The Phillies' offense has been pretty bad this year, okay? 23rd in OPS. They're last in MLB in on-base percentage. They're 18th in runs, so they're basically being carried by Schwarber. Harper's doing pretty well. Still not elite, maybe, Dombrowski might say, listen, Harper, you're doing well, but you're not elite anymore. And then Brandon Marsh also has had a good season. But other than that, not a lot of offense from the Phillies. They also ranked 24th in ERA. They blew 2 leads against the Marlins, and they lost 3 relievers to injuries in the past month. So the Phillies definitely need some help, not to mention their rotation, which is their strong suit with Wheeler, Luzardo, and Sanchez. They have not won a start that hadn't been started by one of those 3 guys since June 28th. Now, I don't know what they did this weekend, but I'm not sure if that still stands, but that is, either way, a solid month without getting a win from their 4th or 5th starters. So there's a lot of room where the Phillies could grow. Nightingale reported that Robbie Ray was on their radar. There was reports that the Phillies were trying to get Skubal. They were interested in Varsho, interested in Joe Adley, and Trevor Hoffman. So they wanted everybody, but they end up getting somebody else. Luis Arraez is going to the Phillies. So that was a big bombshell for the Phillies, a shot in the arm for him. All-star this season, leads the league in average. He's led the league in average 3 of the last 4 seasons. He is a free agent after the season, but 3.1 WAR so far. He's on pace to have his best season yet, which is gone pretty under the radar because he's on the Giants, who have been, as we mentioned. But this shakes things up in Philly. So Bryce Harper's going back to right field, which is going to be interesting to see. Hasn't played since 2022. How old is Bryce right now? 34? 33? I think he's 33. He's going back to right field. I mean, defensively, he's been really bad according to the metrics at first base, one of the worst. So we'll see. And Bryson Stott, who's played 2 games in his career at third, is going to third, as Luis Arraez is going to second base. They also get Brooks Raley. So what's the point of moving Arraez, not just putting Arraez at first base?
So Arraez had said that if he gets traded, he doesn't want to move positions. Arraez has over 200 career games at first base, but he prefers playing second base. This is kind of an insane move, though, because Harper, like you said, hasn't played the outfield since the beginning of 2022. His last time playing the outfield was in April 2022, over 4 years ago. And even when he was playing outfield, he wasn't a good defensive player. So in the 4 seasons before he got hurt, he was worth negative 22 outs above average in right field. His last full season in the outfield, he was worth negative 7. But with Arraez wanting to stay at second, they have Bryson Stott. So then they have to move Bryson Stott. They could have moved Trey Turner. I don't get why that wasn't a part of the equation. Turner has experience in the outfield. But then they're going to move Stott to third base, which pushes Alec Boehm to first base. And Bryce Harper had said before this road trip even began that he was willing to play the outfield again. And he also said that this would be a temporary thing, but it seems like a lot of moving parts for something that isn't going to go well in the outfield.
They're shuffling the deck. I mean, it is a little bit of I just look at the rosters, the Phillies roster construction. Who's going to bat leadoff for him? You know, Arraez is a get-on-base guy. They've had, I don't know how much Schwarber's usually batting leadoff, but I think he hasn't been leadoff this year for a lot of the year. They got Boehm, who's not Boehm, but Marsh is a big average guy. Luis is a big average guy, but it is helpful because they, like I said earlier, they are 29th in on-base percentage, and Luis Arraez gets on base, right?
He does. Trey Turner has been leadoff for most of this year, looking at Baseball Reference's lineups. Arraez actually, by advanced metrics, makes a lot of sense as a third hitter because he doesn't strike out and he hits the ball in play. So you get guys on base and then you move them over. Arraez is that kind of guy. He's not going to strike out. He's going to put the ball in play. And then they already have, Turner established at leadoff. I guess it is going to be interesting how they push down the lineup. I guess they've been having Alec Boehm clean up.
Bro,
and he's
seen that.
Terrible.
It's like Boehm is batting third for the Phillies. It's like, what the hell is going on here?
Alec Boehm this year has a 73 OPS plus. He will be the worst hitting first baseman in baseball once he moves over. And he's been hitting 4th, 5th, 3rd all year.
4th, 5th hitter. Listen, the Phillies famously don't give a fuck about defense. They want big boppers in the lineup.
This really does feel like a test case to how bad can we make our defense. You put Bryce Harper in right field. He hasn't played right field in forever. And you've got to imagine that the Phillies say, hey, don't go all out in the outfield. We want you healthy for October, which is going to result in bad defense.
Listen, defense wins championships. Bryce Harper said, quote, on the road, it's going to suck. He's not going to be looking forward to getting heckled in right field. You know Bryce Harper is a target for verbal attacks. So I'm just saying, if you're in the right field and Bryce Harper's out there and you're an away team, go easy on him. He's been through a lot this year. But shout out to the Phillies, made a big splash. Love a big splash. The Nationals, not so much. The Nationals, I don't know if Nationals fans are happy about what just went down. So they went into this week, they were hot. Won 6 of their last 9, just 1 game out of a wild card spot. Then they traded Curtis Mead for Connerly early, which was immediately a great trade because Curtis Mead breaks his hand the very next freaking day. He's basically out for the regular season probably. So we get a pitcher for Curtis Mead who can't play. Great trade. Then they lose 2 out of 3 to the Blue Jays and they get swept in 4 games by the Bravos. And then the front office decides to make some moves. So they trade Luis Garcia Jr. to the Yankees. This guy leads the NL in slugging. He's under team control until 2027. Third best hitter on the team. Longest tenured national. I believe he was on the World Series team, right, Mitch?
He debuted in 2020. He was the last guy, though, to play with Scherzer and Turner.
So, longest tenure national. And he's gone. They trade him for 4 relievers for the Yankees. Prospects, right? They're all prospects.
So Jake Bird was acquired by the Yankees from the Rockies last trade deadline. Bird had pitched fairly well for the Rockies. He gets to New York and he sucks. He had a 27 ERA right after the deadline. They shipped him down to the minors. This year he had a 5.93 ERA, and it looks like he's been in the minors most of the season after, or maybe he's been back and forth. But Jake Bird is basically a failed trade deadline acquisition from last year.
Yeah, what are the other guys? Those guys are just prospects?
And those guys, the other 3 are prospects.
But
Giovanni Cruz has made his debut.
But they're all relievers, right?
I believe so.
And, what do the Nationals need?
They need relievers.
The obvious flaw in the Nationals roster construction right now is the pitching, more specifically the bullpen. So you kind of can justify this trade a little bit for this season because, if they had an average bullpen, they'd be a playoff team. Yeah, they have to give up their third best hitter who leads the league in slugging, but we needed relievers. However, then they turn around and trade Foster Griffin. So this seems like a full-on punt for the season for the Nationals. He came back from Japan this year and has a 3.06 ERA. 3.5 WAR, was an all-star. And what they get for him is more pitchers. So the Nationals trade Foster Griffin. They trade Luis Garcia Jr., Curtis Mead, and a guy named Christian Franklin. They get 9 pitchers this deadline. So that's clear. It was clear that Nationals' weakness was pitching. So they got a bunch of pitchers. Now, they did have to give up Luis Garcia Jr., who was going to be on the team next year. And you have to give up Foster Griffin, who, if you really thought you were going to be a playoff team this year, you were going to need, because he's the only pitcher on the team who's worth a shit. Sorry for cursing, but it is what it freaking is, guys. And he's gone. So the Nats are preparing for next year. And personally, I think that's a little dangerous, man, because there's no guarantees in this game. There's no guarantees that C.J. Abrams and James Wood are going to be the 2 of the 5 best hitters in baseball.
And there's no guarantee for next year.
And there might not even be a next year. So we'll see what we'll see. But the Nats, I don't know. The odds of them making the playoffs went down after this deadline, unfortunately for them. It is a big blow for their chances. They fall to 4th place this week, 4.5 games back of a wild card spot. Big reason for that is the Atlanta Braves, who swept them in 4 games. They are hot, 12-5 since the All-Star break, best record in baseball. Extended their division lead to 8 games, so we're back on top, bro. Feels good to be back. The Phillies got close for a second, but we said, sorry, little bro, and pushed them back into the toilet and flushed it. What is that called again?
Wait. A swirly.
Yeah, you would know because you probably got a lot back in the day, brother.
I swear to God, I'll give you one right now.
Good luck. I have a hat on. Anyway, so the Braves, speaking of teams that need pitching. Braves, dude. The Braves. This is the rotation right now for the Braves, who somehow have the 8th best starting pitching staff in baseball by ERA. You got Chris Sale, beast. Then Grant Holmes, Bryce Elder, Martin Perez, J.R. Ritchie, A.J. Smith-Schaffner, just came back off the IL, and Ronaldo Lopez, but he just got hurt this week. So it was clear that the Braves wanted a starting pitcher. There was reports they were interested in Freddie Peralta. There was reports that they made a deal with Jacob deGrom. It was reported that that deal was done by somebody. That was not the case. Now, there also are reports that deGrom used his no-trade clause. We don't really know for sure if he used it specifically for the Braves, but that was a potential deal that did not go through. Instead, they get Tyler Mahle. Yeah. And they also get Brett Suter, who's a reliever, and they also get Bailey Falter from the Royals.
And Lane Thomas,
an outfielder. They also get rid of Eli White and Joey Bart. So, I mean, it wasn't a very exciting deadline for the Braves. They add a starter in Mahe. They add a reliever, and they add Falter. Now, but none of them are big names. I mean, how's Falter done this year? I know that Mahle was good last year, but he got hurt.
So Bailey Falter was bad enough to get designated for assignment this year and then go unclaimed. So he had a 13.97 ERA in 5 games. Royals outrighted him back in May. He's been pitching in the minors for the last how many months ago was that? 3 months. And he hadn't pitched that well in the minors. So this might have been, I guess, 3.35 ERA is okay. They're using him as like a swing man.
Well, as you can tell by his tone, Mitchell's not happy with this deadline with the Braves at all.
They're not happy.
I would give you the floor, Mitchell. Just vent, bro. Get it out, dude.
The big issue for the Braves right now is they have a great starting pitcher in Chris Sale. Chris Sale just won NL Pitcher of the Month in August. He has probably pitched in line with his 2024 Cy Young. Jacob Mizorowski is going to make it really hard for Sale to win NL Cy Young. But this year, Sale has a lower ERA than he did back in 2024. His strikeout rate is right on par. He's throwing the ball faster than he's ever thrown in his life. Chris Sale is like a legitimate ace. The problem,
not for sale.
Not for sale. But the problem is the Braves' rest of the rotation is really bad. Grant Holmes doesn't really pitch past the 5th inning.
Great hair, though.
Bryce Elder has been horrible for the most part since mid-May, although he's
trending upwards
3
now.
good starts in a row.
He's turning it around.
Martin Perez is only good if you tell him that he's starting 45 minutes before the game.
Well, that's a skill.
Almost threw a no-hitter. Was designated for assignment this year by the Braves. And then J.R. Ritchie has just been sent down for the 5th time, which means if he gets called back up, they can't send him back down. He's struggled through most of his rookie season. A.J. Smith-Shawver is not really
he has a
healthy.
Hot girlfriend.
Jose Canseco's daughter.
Pretty cool shit, dude.
And then Ronaldo Lopez got hurt. The Braves do have a potential ace rehabbing an injury right now in Spencer Schwellenbach, but there's not really a guarantee that Schwellenbach is going to pitch again.
Don't forget about Strider.
Strider's likely out for the year, according to Spencer Strider.
According to one guy who met him at a record store per Spencer Strider. According to Spencer Strider, per a guy who met him at a record store with
a girl who met him at the
girl.
No, so it was pretty clear the Braves needed another starting pitcher, and they got Tyler Mahle, who has a 5.13 ERA in 94 innings. They just need guys to relieve innings, but they then didn't acquire any other pitchers. So when the Braves go into the playoffs, you have Chris Sale, who could go bar to bar with any other starting pitcher.
Bar for bar.
And then they've got who else? I mean, are you taking the Braves starting rotation over anyone?
I love to use the reference bar for bar. You turn it into a rap beef. Listen, I get exactly what you're saying, bro, and I'm on board with you. Now, I will say, to defend the Braves, the starters might not be good, but there's a shit ton of them. So that's like kind of a strategy in its own right. We don't have good starters. We got 8 of them, so maybe 3 of them will be good at one time. We'll see what happens. I don't like to get too negative, but yeah, it wasn't a big splash for the Braves. I will.
Especially when, you got other teams that you may play in the playoffs, the Padres, the Cubs, the Dodgers, who all acquired starting pitching. And the Phillies, I mean, they didn't even need starting
Yeah.
pitching.
And you know what? Hey, Mitch, I'll be honest, dude. The reason why, I mean, I'd like to tell you I'm surprised, but it's like, that's just not the Braves' MO to make a big trade deadline splash, unless it's something that no one's expecting, you know? But I can't think of, what was the biggest free deadline splash the Braves made? I'm not the best at memorizing things like that. I'm sure there's been a few. But I feel like most of our trades come in the offseason with players no one's expecting, and it is what it is.
I just think they needed another dude.
Yeah.
I wasn't even expecting like a Casey Mize, a Tarek Skubal. I was expecting, someone who could pitch 6 innings.
I agree with you. But what are you going to do? At least we're not the measly Mets who trade Hoskar. They trade Brooks. They trade Luke Weaver. They trade AJ Minter. They trade Freddie Peralta to Tampa Bay. This is a very close your ears if you're a Mets fan. So the Mets traded Freddie Peralta this trade deadline to the Tampa Bay Rays. They signed him this offseason. They traded for him. The Mets traded their number 3, number 5 prospect for Freddie Peralta. They went to pitch a 4.99 ERA for them. A few months later, they traded him for the Rays' 15th, 26th, and 27th ranked prospects. So they basically switched their number 3 and number 5 ranked prospects to the Rays for their 15th, 26th, and 27th ranked. So that is a downfall that needs to be studied.
That sounds like when the NFL draft is going on and the team trades like the 5th pick for 4 picks later on in the draft.
Listen, the Mets hope they probably will get a good draft pick after this season. And then the Marlins, man, honestly, I would say this. If you think your deadline was bad as a Braves fan, the Marlins was worse. I mean, if you were the one optimistic Marlins fan who said, you know what, we're going to make a big deal. This is the year the Marlins really go for it. So the Marlins had a great week, though. I mean, the Marlins, they sucked. They came into the week 12-game losing streak, worst losing streak than ever. Then they sweep the Phillies, win 3 out of 4 against the freaking Mets, and now they're just 1.5 games back of a wild card spot. However, they start selling, bro. They got rid of Liam Hicks. They get rid of Braxton Garrett. Now, granted, I don't really know was Liam Hicks good this year?
Liam Hicks has been really good this year. He was a Rule 5 draft pick back in the 2024-2025 offseason. Last year, he was about league average as a hitter. This year, he has a 124 OPS plus, has a 795 OPS, 14 homers, 62 RBIs. He is a catcher. That is a really good mark for a catcher. I think with the Marlins, they have another guy, Joe Mack, who has been really good defensively and a little bit above league average as a hitter. And the Marlins are looking at it like, we got this guy for nothing. And Liam Hicks is 27. Let's go ahead and maximize our return.
Let's flip him. Same thing that the Nationals did. That Luis Garcia has the best year of his career, trade him.
Curtis Mead,
best year of his career, trade him. Foster Griffin, best year of his career, trade him. As soon as they see that, you're gone because we're balling on a budget. And that's what the Marlins do. They also trade Braxton Garrett, who hasn't pitched for them, I believe, at all.
Garrett's been in the minor leagues most of this year.
Yeah, so, and I think he was hurt all year last year, but they trade him. And then Lake Bachar, who's been their reliever, I think they've probably relied on him heavily this year. So it's not like they got rid of their best players, but they didn't add anybody.
I think if you're a Marlins fan, you come out of this deadline relieved that they didn't get rid of Otto Lopez, Xavier Edwards, Kyle Stowers, any of the guys who've been rumored who are team controlled and have been pretty good this year. I don't like the Marlins strategy of selling high here on Liam Hicks, but Braxton Garrett and Lake Bacher, they're not going to be part of your long-term plans. And they don't make you that much worse. Like the Marlins are 1.5 games behind the Phillies. They're definitely not out of a playoff hunt. And I don't think this makes them that much worse while also keeping them, looking towards the
That's
future.
the Marlins trade deadline motto. We didn't get worse for the first time, probably in a long time. They did not sell. They stayed the same.
They sort of sold.
But on the other end of the spectrum, you got the Cubs who made a pretty big splash. Shout out to the Cubbies. They get Clay Holmes and Tyrone Taylor from the Mets. They got Kevin Gausman from the Blue Jays. Bing bong. They get Ryan Zefferhan reliever from the Angels, and Clay Holmes. So I already said Clay Holmes. But it was clear that they were going for starting pitchers, and that's what they got. That's what they needed. Their starting pitchers, their 14th in starting pitchers ERA, and I think they've been dealing with a lot of injuries. That's Ben Brown, Edward Cabrera, Clay Holmes, who they just got, and Cade Horton and Justin Steele. So they add some guys, so they will not go out without a fight. The NL Central actually made more splashes this year than I can remember. The Brewers also made some trades. Surprising, they also went for starters. They got Dustin May and Jojo Romero from the Cardinals. The Brewers also got Senzatella from the Rockies. So, I mean, Dustin May has had a great year. Am I right, or am I right?
I mean, he's been okay. He's got a 4.38 ERA. I think with May, though, he's had some really good starts. He had a complete game shutout this year. Complete game one hitter. I didn't realize it was that good.
Dude,
A lot of 6-inning outings. He's also had some really bad starts. He has had 3 starts where he didn't go 4 innings and allowed 5 or more runs.
Does that scary the Brewers with their player development, getting a guy like Dustin May who throws like 101 mile per hour fucking sinkers? The Brewers have the number 1 starting pitching staff in baseball, and all they added was starters.
They're also getting Harrison back. He was making some rehab starts, and it looks like he's going to pitch on Wednesday, and he's been out since the beginning of July. And they're what? They're 4, 5? How many games up are they in the Central?
A lot more than that, I think. I mean, their lead in the Central is bigger than 6.5. 6.5 game lead of the Central, 69 wins, tied. They have the best record in baseball right now. They have the number 1 pitching staff in baseball right now. They got the best pitcher alive right now, Jacob Mizorowski, and they added more. It just does surprise me that they went for pitching. And I will say that trade for Dustin May does excite me. But their little brother down below, Cardinals, they decide to sell. They trade them a pitcher, 2 pitchers. They fall below the Pirates this week, 14.5 games back of the Brewers. So they don't do anything to add. I think they had made 1 trade at the end with a guy who I didn't really know of. Wasn't a big deal. Then also big news in the division, the Pirates. Unfortunately, Paul Skeens is completely cooked. I mean, I will say this is probably the first time I was actually a little concerned about Paul Skeens. I mean, right now, if you look at it, he's not having a good season. Paul Skeens gave up 5 runs in 4 innings this week against the Reds. His ERA is now 3.90. He has a 5.18 ERA dating back to May 17th and hasn't thrown a fastball at 98 miles per hour or faster in 4 starts. So it coincides with a drop in velocity, which scares you if you're a Pirates fan. Do you have any theories on this, the downfall of Paul Skeens?
I think his arm's tired.
You know, sometimes it happens, bro. It's the dog days of summer. But that is worrisome for the Pirates, who are trying to make a run for a playoff spot. They have the potential to be America's team. They do add at the deadline. They go for relievers only. So if you look at what the Pirates need to do, or you look at where they rank this year, you'll see that they have one of the best offenses in baseball. They rank 2nd in runs. Their starting pitchers are about average. That's even with the downfall of Paul Skeens, but the relief pitchers are 22nd in ERA. So they said, you know what? We're just not going to overcomplicate it. We're going to get some freaking relievers. And they do. They add damn near 4 of them. Who did they get again? Luke Weaver, Camilo Duval, and what else? Lake Bachar. So 3 relievers, all of them with some pedigree. Shout out to the Pirates. Maybe they can stop being a 500 team and become a above 500 team. Right now they are a below 500 team. 56 and 57 for the Pirates. And then the Reds, who didn't do jack shit. They did trade Nathaniel Lowe. That's a big deal. But Hunter Green stays, JJ Bleday stays, Eugenio Suarez stays, and they stay in last place.
They also traded Caleb Ferguson, who got pissed at the umpire last week.
Yeah, so that was actually the one name I forgot when I was talking about the Cardinals. So he goes from a red team to a red team, stays in the division, and they trade him for $250,000 in international bonus pool space. Not exactly a blockbuster trade, but what are you gonna do? So if you look at the division right now, who had the best improvement?
I have to say the Cubs.
It wasn't a trick question. It's got to be the Cubs.
They really went all in on pitching, and I mean Tyrone Taylor's had a really underrated season. I remember last week when the Braves were playing the Mets. Went, damn, Tyrone Taylor has a 116 OPS plus.
Reminds me of Tyrod Taylor.
Who's that?
Dumbass. Guy doesn't even know Tyrod Taylor. So you know Tyrone Taylor, you don't know Tyrod Taylor? Come on, bro. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now, but whatever. We can move on. No, but tell me why the Cubs are gooder, bro. Gooder.
Why the Cubs are gooder?
Yeah, man, you're about to give a speech.
No, I really like that they went out. They got Clay Holmes, who was really good with the Mets before he broke his tibia. He had a 2.39 ERA, 9 games. He's going to be back. He's been making rehab starts for a while now. They got Kevin Gausman, who, he hasn't been Kevin Gausman, who was in Cy Young conversations, but solid pitcher, 4.38 ERA, 3.51 FIP. And then you got Ryan Jefferson, who, that was a big package, I think, for Jefferson. They gave up Moises Ballesteros and Mason McGuire, Mark McGuire's son. So that seems like a pretty big trade for a reliever.
Angels getting a big package. It's going to be an exciting second half of the year for the Angels. See how the new guys, they come in for all these trades mixed with Mike Trout.
I mean, are you surprised the Angels didn't try to trade Trout?
Yeah, I'm shocked. I'm shocked Mike Trout didn't get traded.
This was really the first year, though, that they really went all in on a sell.
Yeah, it was. But they didn't get rid of Neto. They didn't get rid of... I mean, who did they get rid of?
They didn't get rid of Detmers.
Yeah, they got rid of Joe Adell. They don't really have a lot of guys to get rid of. But, I mean, they got rid of their GM, so that's probably a big reason why. It's all the interim GM is making the moves. It is so funny to have an interim GM. It's just like
they got nothing.
We got an interim GM. He's just making moves that it's going to affect the franchise for the next 10 years. The guy doesn't even technically have the job yet. What are you going to do? All right. So moving from the NL Central to the AL Central, we got the Guardians. They got into a big fight over some unwritten rule bullshit. They're playing the Tampa Bay Diamondbacks, who are actually from Arizona, who had won 4 in a row, 8 of the last 11 games. So the Diamondbacks have gotten hot, and a lot of people aren't paying attention to the Diamondbacks right now, but the Diamondbacks gotten hot. The Guardians trying to avoid a sweep. The Guardians have gone the opposite direction. They have not been playing well, and Gavin Williams is pitching a gem. He's got a perfect game through 5 innings. Tim Tebow is at the plate, tries to bunt in the 5th inning of a perfect game. Was it the 5th or the 6th? 6th inning of a perfect game. Now, Gavin Williams wasn't a big fan of this. The Guardians weren't a big fan of this. They are annoyed. The catcher starts yelling at him. Brian Rocchio starts talking shit to him when he gets to second base. They have a 5-0 lead, mind you. Flashback to July 19th. This had happened to Gavin Williams before. So he had a perfect game in the 5th against the Twins. Royce Lewis had to bunt. He is visibly annoyed when he tried to bunt off him. That's a 1-0 game in the 5th. He doesn't think you should be able to bunt during a perfect game. And what happens? He doesn't bunt, and he gets a hit on 0-2 count and ruins the perfect game. Within a few minutes later, after the perfect game gets ruined, it starts pouring rain. Field gets completely drenched. They stop the game. They bring out the tarp. The fucking grounds crew members slip and they fall, eat shit in the tarp. Meanwhile, the teams are fighting on the field. Coaching staff. It's funny because if you watch this altercation, the players aren't even fighting. It's literally coaching staff versus coaching staff. All the coaching staff's in the middle of it. They're all screaming at each other for whatever reason. And in the middle of a rainstorm, they get kicked off the field because they got to bring the tarp on the field.
I've never seen a benches clearing incident while they're trying to get the tarp on the field.
Fucking tough day to be a grounds crew member. You get swallowed by the tarp and then the coaching staff won't get off the field.
There's a better angle of the grounds crew kicking off the benches clearing altercation.
Get out the way, boys. This dirt ain't cheap. They refuse to do it. There also is a clip that went under the radar of Ketel Marte slapping Stephen Vogt in the butt, and Stephen Vogt staring his ass down, which was pretty funny because it didn't seem like he wanted to joke around. After the game, the manager says, quote, "I was just upset because there were people talking to our players that shouldn't be. That's what my grief was about." According to him, Stephen Vogt, we're talking about, manager of the Guardians, he had no problem with what Tawa did based on the conversation there at home plate. So that, I guess they were beefing about something else. But it all comes back down to bunting during a perfect game, which, you know me, I leave it up for the big boys to decide when it comes to unwritten rules. I think you got to get on base, though. Gavin Williams, you weren't going to get a perfect game anyway. No offense. Anyway, the Guardians end up winning. They salvage game 3 of this series, avoid a sweep. They haven't won a series since the All-Star break. The Cleveland Guardians briefly fell to 3rd place behind the Twins this week. They are 30th in OPS, 29th in runs, 27th in home runs, 28th in average. Jose Ramirez, since coming off the injured list, 195. That's his batting average. So it's obvious what the Guardians need, and that is some boom in the lineup. They get a little bit of it. They get Blake Perkins from the Brewers. Not a huge ad, but it's a very Brewers type ad. Let's get a guy who's got like a 65 OPS plus and let him bat against lefties or whatever the fuck. And they also get Joe Adley from the Angels. Now that's a bigger boom. That is way more of what the Guardians need because the Guardians famously can't hit home runs. Joe Adley famously can hit home runs a little bit. He had 37 last year in his breakout season, 115 OPS plus. This year, not so good. Negative 0.1 WAR, 93 OPS plus, but he's going to the Guardians trying to add a little bit of boom to a lineup that has 0 boom. They also add at the very end Foster Griffin, which blows my mind because the Guardians pitching staff is really their strong suit. Right now, the Guardians are 6th in starting pitching, and they add Foster Griffin on top of that. So I don't know what they gave up for him, but they must have really liked that package because it doesn't seem like that's what they would be targeting. So they get Foster Griffin, another frontline starter, and also at the end of the deadline, they add Nathaniel Lowe, who's underratedly hitting 122 OPS plus this year. So another bat. He plays first base, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's been like a first base DH type.
So they add 2 pretty big bats. Big bats for the Guardians, at least. They add Joe Adley and Nathaniel Lowe for a team that can't hit. So actually, for the Guardians standard, this is a pretty big deadline. I mean, where would you rank that on moves if you actually add those up? Foster Griffin, Nathaniel Lowe, and Joe Adley.
They made a lot more moves than I expected.
Yeah, I mean, 2 of those were at the very end. So I guess that's why they kind of fell below my radar. I'm reading this right now, being a little bit surprised. But shout out to the Guardians, who definitely need it. Right now, they are 2.5 games, but 3 games back of the White Sox. They also, this is a funny tidbit, the Angels say they're still giving away the Joe Adley bobblehead and football jersey later this season. Even though they got traded, they got 2 giveaways for this guy, traded him anyway, so they get, fuck it, we already got the shit.
Look, they bought it.
We're giving it away. If you really love Joe Adley, come to the ballpark on September, whatever the fuck. Use SeatGeek and get your ass in the stadium, guys, because this episode is brought to you by SeatGeek, okay? I'm excited for some live events. I love seeing live events with SeatGeek. I was actually thinking about going to Chicago to see the Dodgers' Tarek Skubal pitch his first game tomorrow.
You're going tomorrow?
I was thinking about it, but I decided not to. But if I had gone to Chicago for one day to watch Tarek Skubal because I got nothing better to do, I would have used SeatGeek to do it. I'll probably go to another live event soon, and I will use SeatGeek. I love SeatGeek. Over 35 million downloads. SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app in the world. They have over 70,000 live events listed on SeatGeek. That is concerts, sports, festivals, and more. MLB, I don't have to tell you, it's in full swing, baby. NFL preseason has started, baby. Let's get our butts in some seats. And it's summer, baby. Perfect time to go to a concert. Outdoor seating, on the lawn, smoking cigs, on the lawn, watching, I don't know, what's your favorite band, Jack, to see on the lawn?
My favorite band
To see on the lawn.
The last time I saw a band on a lawn, it was Weezer.
Say it ain't so. Yo is a humbling. Use SeatGeek now to see Weezer, the official ticketing app of Weezer. Psych, that's not true. It is the official ticketing app of MLB, though. So your tickets are fully guaranteed and instantly fulfilled to your account after purchase. The biggest reason to use SeatGeek right now is because PDE, Podcast Doesn't Exist, official sponsor, can give you 10 freaking % off. Doesn't matter who you are, where you are, what you do. You can get 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. Just use code PDE10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off any tickets with promo code PDE10. Make sure you click the link in the description, download the app, and have the code automatically applied to your account so you can use it later. You don't have to use it right now. Just get the app, put the thing in, then you get 10% off your next set of tickets. And trust me, you're not going to regret it. SeatGeek, it's where it's at. Plus, every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee. Do not forget. So please go to SeatGeek, use code PDE for 10% off your next set of tickets. Thank you. Now back to the program.
Joe, I'm really disappointed in you. You thought about going to Chicago. Your first Wrigley experience could have been Tarek making his Dodgers debut, and you go,
I got to fucking put out the fucking podcast. So that's what Mitchell's disappointed in you. Me. That's how much he cares about.
We can run the ship. You go to Chicago, have your Wrigley experience. I don't actually trust us to get it added in. Actually,
you can do it, bro. We just cut this part, cut this part, add this song, put this clip, and then you got it. It's like baking a cake, dude. It's like baking a cake. Just put the recipe into ChatGPT, and what do you get? A sick ass 20-minute video. But maybe I should go, Mitchell. Do you think I should go?
I think you should. I think Wrigley on its own is a great experience, but you've got a once in a lifetime chance to see.
Then why don't you go, bitch?
Should I go?
Use SeatGeek. Use code SeatGeek. Go to Chicago. Plane tickets are cheap. You use the train, right? You can go to train over there.
If I leave like right now, I could get there.
You can Uber.
I've never seen the Dodgers play. I feel like I got to go to a Dodgers game. Wait, have I seen the Dodgers play?
No one cares who you saw play.
I don't think you have.
I feel like I would.
Should you go to Chicago?
I don't think you have.
Should I go to Chicago?
Mitchell, how the fuck would you know if Jack saw the Dodgers or not? I'm not even trying to curse, dude, but I just got to call.
Well, he's been around for my entire experience with baseball, so I guess it's not that crazy.
I'm not even going to respond to that.
I'll go.
All right, so if you could see Jack at the game tomorrow, get a picture with Jack. He will be out there in the Wrigley Field. Speaking of Chicago, the White Sox, the team of the South Side, they are above the Guardians right now. They have to play the Yankees this week and the Rays this week. Jack's Rays and Jack's Yankees. Lose the first two games to the Yankees. So that's not fucking good. Game 3, they go down 4-0. That's not good. They score 4 unanswered runs. They go into extras. They keep showing this little Yankees kid crying the whole game. It's pretty funny. This kid's crying his eyes out, and they won't stop. They just show him on TV constantly. Like, it's kind of...
I saw a post that was like, why are there so many kids crying in the stands? And then a bunch of comments being like, that's the same kid. They just keep showing this kid.
Yeah, the camera guys, they have no heart. But neither do we. Just put them on blast, little pussy.
I feel like normally you would show that if it was your broadcast and your team was losing, you'd be like, look at these fans. They love them. But instead they're like, we're so good. We're making this fucking kid cry. You know?
We're killing this kid's baseball dreams.
Sucks to suck. You know, you should have picked the White Sox. So they go into extras. They go down to their last out. They tie the game on a throwing error, end up winning on a walk-off. Very next day, they go into extras again, load the bases in extra, down to their last out again, win on a walk-off walk. So they beat the Yankees in back-to-back walk-offs. Then they beat the Rays 2 out of 3. So the White Sox have extended their lead in the Central to 3 games. It's the biggest lead of the year. And then they go all in, baby. The White Sox make a big splash. They get Luis Castillo from the Mariners. They do have to give up Sir Anthony Dominguez, though. That was their closer. They give up Nolan Jones and a catching prospect, so it's not like they didn't give up. They gave up major league talent. They also acquire Huascar Brazaban for the bullpen, and they get Brenton Doyle for the outfielders. So they get a starter, a reliever, and an outfielder on top of a catcher in Joey Bart. That goes on top of already a first-place roster for the Central. So the White Sox, who already had it all, king of the Central, make the biggest moves of any other team. Well, I wouldn't say that. I'd say the Guardians probably made a bigger splash than them, no? Whose deadline do you love more?
I would lean Guardians. But I think the White Sox had a good trade deadline.
It is funny because it feels like the Central forever, like every deadline, none of these teams do shit, and they all suck because they're all kind of like complacent with each other, not trying their hardest because they're all competing against each other. Now the White Sox make a big splash. Now the Twins or the Guardians have to make a big splash. That kind of forced the Tigers maybe to trade Skubal and trade Mize. Like these other teams, they're going for it this year. Maybe in past years, the White Sox just stay where they're at. The Guardians stay where they're at. The Twins, they would still be. I mean, the Twins every year are about 500, a couple of games out of a playoff spot. They don't do anything. The Tigers might have said, "Hey, we do have a chance at the division." Tigers said, "Actually, we have no chance at the division," and they trade the biggest free agent prospect. He's a free agent prospect. It's a new term I'm coming up with. He's a free agent prospect. I'm prospecting him to be a free agent after this year. We're going to trade him, and we're going to trade Casey Mize because the White Sox put the pressure on. So shout out to the White Sox. Shout out to the Twins. The Twins also make some moves. Who did the Twins get?
They got Dean Kramer, and then they got Jeff Hoffman.
And then they get AJ Minter too.
Oh my God, yeah, they got Minter.
So they get 3 pitchers in Minnesota who this week beat the Royals, then lose a series to the Mariners. Nothing too crazy going on, except they did get an ultimate grand slam, bruh. So only 34 of these in MLB history. So the first ultimate grand slam, whatever the fuck it had on 0-2 count. Who hit the grand slam, bro?
Cody Clemens.
It's Cody Clemens, spelled with a K, because his dad
loved to strike people out.
Yep, named his son Cody with the K because he's Roger Clemens, baby. He's the Rocket. Cody is a Rocket himself. So they're down 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning with 2 outs. With 2 strikes, they're down to their last strike. They're losing by 3. What does Cody Clemens with the K do? Bing bong. Hits a grand slam to win the game. So the Twins, they stay alive, bro. They keep playing mid, but you can't kill them. So there have been less ultimate grand slams than no-hitters. There's been 24 perfect games, so there's only been 10 more fuck you. Fuck me. 24 perfect games, 34 ultimate grand slams. 19 4-homer games, 34 grand slams. 124 6-hit games, only 34 ultimate grand slams. What I'm trying to tell you is it's really hard to hit an ultimate grand slam, and they fucking did it. This is the second of the year, though.
Cody Clemens, I would say, is the pure ultimate grand slam. I think if you have 0 outs, it's an ultimate grand slam, but the stakes aren't as high, you know?
Not only did he have 2 outs, he had 2 strikes.
2 strikes. Cody Clemens, 2 strikes, 2 outs. I feel like that's like the true ultimate grand slam.
Well, it goes to show you just how dog shit the Royals were. The Royals, they got swept by who they get swept by? The Rockies.
The Rockies.
I don't know if we want to talk. And they didn't even do shit the deadline either. They didn't even trade anybody.
They traded Lane Thomas and Bailey Falter.
Yeah, so there is nothing going on in Kansas City right now. What are you going to do?
They traded Chris Bubik, who's been on the IL. I am surprised that both them and the Athletics didn't sell.
Yeah.
And they really should have.
I'm not too surprised with I guess. I don't know. There's always guys you can sell. I mean, I know that the Athletics kind of have a core and they signed a lot of those guys long-term and they were expecting to be good this year. So when you say sell, I'm thinking like a complete teardown which, not necessarily what you mean by sell. We can at least make a trade or two. I don't think the Athletics did one thing.
They traded with the Phillies. It's like Seth Johnson for Colby Thomas. Such a minor trade, I would say 90% of baseball fans don't know either name.
I don't know either name either.
95% of baseball fans.
Yeah.
Like I only know that Colby Thomas is an outfielder, and I only know that Seth Johnson is a reliever, but I don't know anything really about them. But I mean, they have
What are
people
what
they
are they
could've
what are they
traded.
like off the field? Are they good guys?
Who's to say?
That's what we really should be asking. We keep bringing up these guys' stats, but what are their character? We got Lane Thomas in our clubhouse now, Mitch. Did we get a report on what's he like around his friends and family?
He has neighbors with Spencer Strider.
Really?
That's what Spencer Strider said in the past. So maybe if Spencer Strider wants to live around Lane Thomas,
that's a good sign, man. Strider is known to be a good Samaritan, a great clubhouse guy, a great mustache, but he can't stay on the damn field. But we'll talk about something else for now. How about we talk about the Tigers? Mitchell's Tigers. How do you like your deadline, man?
I think it's kind of dumb that it came up to one game that they blew. Like maybe the Tigers don't trade. Maybe the Tigers do trade the people that they traded had they won that game that they blew. But it really felt like on Wednesday they're facing the Orioles. They have a 7-0 lead. If they win this game, they're holding. If they lose this game, it's over. And then you blow it. And I felt like at that point it was inevitable.
No, it was a tough stretch going into the deadline. They blew a game in the 9th inning against the Royals. The next day they blow a game in the 8th inning against the Royals. It's the worst team in baseball. Then they get a 7-0 lead with Skubal on the mound against the Orioles, and they blow that game on Wednesday. And that's all she wrote. That was enough to convince the Tigers to sell the greatest pitcher in baseball. Then they also trade Casey Mize. Man, I was kind of thinking that we had reports earlier in the week that the Tigers were going to trade Skubal, but do it in a way that wouldn't really take them out of playoff contention. But once they trade Casey Mize, that's basically waving the white flag.
I mean, there is the slimmest chance that they just pull a 2024 where they traded Jack Flaherty in the 2024 trade deadline to the Dodgers. Then they made the playoffs. They held on to Gleyber Torres and Kenley Jansen. Troy Melton has been one of the best starting pitchers in baseball since he came off the IL.
It wouldn't be the craziest thing in the world. They still do have Framber, Montero, like
Verlander.
and Flaherty, who's injured right now, but I'm just gonna assume he's coming back soon. And like you said, Melton. They still play in the American League, which is wide open.
They're only 2.5 games back.
For real. And they just swept the Athletics, where their offense went apeshit. They just called up Max Clark, top prospect in the organization. So there you go. You got Max Clark. Now you got Mr. River Ryan probably coming into the rotation. Let's see what he's got. Listen, it would not be the craziest thing in the world. Like you said, it happened 2 years ago, right? Where they traded at the deadline and still made the playoffs.
But I mean,
this is a different trade, though.
This is completely different. Jack Flaherty was a good pitcher when they traded Jack Flaherty to the Dodgers, but he's no Tarek Skubal. I would argue that Flaherty wasn't even a Casey Mize.
Ooh.
Casey Mize has been very good this season. They just shipped him off to San Diego. So you lose two really good starting pitchers. You replace them with a question mark. I don't like their odds of making the playoffs. I get why they traded both Skubal and Mize. It's just not a fun situation to be in.
No. And you know what? At the deadline, sometimes the best deadlines are the least fun deadlines. You know, did the Nationals love giving up Juan Soto at the deadline in 2022? No, but it all worked out for the best, right? That might have been a bad example. I guess that was kind of an obvious trade. But we'll see what the Tigers get back. But moving on to the Red Sox, you probably had the... What happened to my bomb set? There we go. Holy shit. the Red Sox had the most eventful, definitely the most eventful month, definitely the most eventful deadline, unless you want to say the Dodgers big splash. But it started with the Red Sox. Going back to last week, they traded for Curtis Mead. So they gave up Connerly early for Curtis Mead. Mead, who's been a beast this year, slugging .489 with the .851 OPS, 17 big bombs. Very first game with the Red Sox, hitting the hand with the pitch. Now, at first they were saying, okay, it's not bad. X-rays are negative. Looks like he'll be back soon. Manager Chad Tracy says, we think we dodged a bullet here. Not a big deal. That's what was being reported. Next day they say, psych, bitch. Broken hand. He's out for 68 weeks. So they make a trade. Day later, that trade is probably out for the rest of the season. Now, this goes back to their medical staff allegedly being incompetent, because if you look back earlier in the season, Roman Anthony, the initial report was that he was going to avoid the IL. He's been injured since May 4th. Garrett Crochet, the initial report said he'd be on the 15-day IL. He's been out since April 25th. And now you got the initial report saying his x-ray was negative. Curtis Mead looks like he will be out for the foreseeable future. So if you're a Red Sox fan, you get the medical staff's phone number and you start calling them and farting in the phone. That's what I'm saying, because they're leading you a rise. Speaking of Luis Arraez, he got traded to the Phillies, and that is foreshadowing more trades for the Red Sox. On Thursday, they're playing the Athletics. Jarren Duran hits a fly ball to left field. Wilson Contreras is at third, has to hold. Jarren Duran is pissed. He's visibly pissed. Going back to the dugout, gestures towards the third base coach across the entire field, gets into the dugout and is still looking at the third base coach, yells run. So he's pissed off at his third base coach here. The Red Sox and the Athletics broadcast both criticize him. Everyone seems to think that if Contreras would have gone here, it would have been cooked. Duran is seen in the dugout saying, quote, "Do your job," or at least that's what it seems. So this season so far, he's flicked off a fan, allegedly threatened a podcaster. He's batting .199 with a .595 OPS, has been the least valuable qualified hitter on the team this season. After the game, at least he owns up to it, says, yeah, I fucking suck. Of course I fucking pissed at myself. Maybe he didn't say it like that. Of course I'm pissed at myself. I can't even do a job for this team. So he's self-pissed, and he's pissed at his third base coach, allegedly. When asked about the third base coach beef, he says that's nothing. It's something that is within the team that we have, that we work on, and it's nothing like you guys don't need to know. Nobody needs to know. Nobody needs to know what's going on. This is internal conflict. On TV, it looks like shit. It looks like he's calling his third base coach a piece of fucking shit for not having the guy tag on third base. It was a bad look, Mitchell. Dallas Braden was on the broadcast really making fun of him hard. The Red Sox Twitter went off on him. He's fallen down to bad graces, not only because he sucks, but he's also now getting mad on the field at his own coach and player, teammate. That's what at least it looks like. Now, to stick up for him a little bit, the Red Sox radio broadcaster the next day says there's a little bit more to it than meets the eye on TV, and that he can, quote, say definitively that is not about Wilson should have come home and run. So it wasn't really, there's more than meets the eye. He's not just mad at third base coach and Wilson for not tagging third and going home. There's something behind the scenes, something about something. We don't know what it was, but you don't seem like you're buying it.
No.
So
I think he needs to regulate his emotions a little better.
Which I think that he agrees with, and he came out and said he's well, I think the understatement of the century. I think Jarren Duran might need to regulate his emotions a little better. You might be onto something with that one. Either way, this can't slow down the Red Sox. So the week was filled with drama, at least the start of the week. You got their new trade guy goes down with a broken hand, then Duran tells the third base coach to fuck off. You think, oh gosh, what's going to happen? They go 6-1 this week. They take 3 out of 4 against the Athletics, then go on the road to the LA Dodgers place and sweep the Dodgers. You don't see that every day. Score 9 runs against the Dodgers in a bullpen game, put up 3 against Yamamoto. who goes 8 innings. So Yamamoto only strikes out like 3 batters, goes 8 innings, but they lose to the Red Sox. And they put 5 against Emmett Sheehan with 3 home runs in the 3rd inning. Cedane Rafaela has been dynamite. Hits a home run in all 3 games of this series. Hits 4 home runs in 3 days, including a game-winning go-ahead home run in Game 1. Has 5 home runs this week. Leads the league in WAR since this week. That's has 5 homers this week. Leads the league in WAR this week. Has 11 RBIs in 7 games and slugs .968 this week. And since July 1st, the Red Sox, God save us all, are the best team in baseball. 23-4, best record in the league. Went into the month with 13% playoff odds, now have an 86% playoff odds. Best ERA in baseball since July 1st. Bullpen has a 1.73 ERA. They were in last place, 13.5 games back. Now in 3rd place, just 5 games back of 1st place. So the Red Sox, I mean, we're thinking, dude, they could make the playoffs. Now it's like, dude, they could win the AL East, bro. Literally 5 games back of the Rays right now. And what do they do on top of that? They make a bombshell trade. So they trade Marcelo Meyer, which shocked me at least. Marcelo, who was a big prospect for them. Only last year he was the future. Him and Roman and Christian, not anymore. He gets traded for a reliever. So Eric Miller, reliever for the Giants, goes to Boston for Marcelo Meyer. Look, Roman Anthony, they had a big 3, right? Roman Anthony, Marcelo Meyer, and Christian Campbell. Roman, still a beast, but he's hurt, and he's in Florida right now. Christian Campbell is in the minor leagues, and Marcelo Meyer is gone. So that changed quickly. The Red Sox future has shifted. It's still bright. Craig Breslow has now traded 5 of the Red Sox last 6 first-round picks. 5 of the last 6 first-round picks for the Red Sox have been traded by Craig Breslow. This guy is not afraid to make a move, Mitch.
No, he's not.
He's not. He's not afraid to make unpopular decisions. Is anyone apologizing to Craig Breslow right now? Have you seen any of that? Should we apologize to Craig Breslow? Because you were being a bitch to Craig
Dude,
Breslow.
I still don't like Breslow.
You were saying this guy's a fucking dork. Ex-player shouldn't be a dork, and you were saying he's an ex-player dork.
Am I wrong?
No, I like him, dude. He's making good fucking moves. He's not afraid to be an unpopular.
No, about him being an ex-player that's also a dork. I think that's pretty accurate. You don't agree?
I think he's an ex-player Chad, bro. Who's not a dork.
I'm gonna go ahead on a limb and say Mitch doesn't think dork is an insult. Is that true?
Oh, I'm not a Breslow fan, so I would not be using dork as a compliment.
Okay, right on. Yeah, I wasn't thinking you were a dork or anything, and that was the.
But I'm not an ex-player, you know?
No, I'm also just kidding. I think the word I'm looking for is geek.
Geek squad.
Because I'm kind of am I a geek? Yeah.
Yeah, you're a geek. Well, how are you a
I'm a
geek?
geek.
Yeah, I mean, I look at these wires and I'm afraid to touch anything. I had a little explosion here today, and I was calling Jack saying, hey, I think I'm about to burn down
He
the
called
place.
me. He was like,
help!
there was a puff of smoke that popped out of my desk.
That's some geek shit.
I didn't know what to do. Called the Geek Squad.
Speaking of geeks, Craig Breslow, quote unquote dork from Mitchell Barbie, has totally mogged the fuck out of Mitch and turned this Red Sox franchise around. The biggest bombshell for the Red Sox, though, they get Adley Rutschman. So Adley Rutschman is traded from the Orioles. They had it all. It wasn't that long ago. The Orioles had it all, man. They had the future in the palm of their hands. The World Series goes through Baltimore. We got Rutschman. We got Henderson. We got Rodriguez. Now you just got Henderson, and he didn't even play that well. Adley Rutschman is gone. According to Sean McAdam, beat writer, according to him and the sources he has from this Rutschman trade, quote, some people in the game are completely stunned by what the Red Sox gave up for Adley Rutschman, said one evaluator from another org. Quote, I'm absolutely dumbfounded by this. This is literally one of the most ridiculous trades I've seen in 30 years. Now, I've seen this from a few people who have been like shocked about what the Orioles got in exchange for Adley Rutschman. Now, me personally, I'm not going to lie and tell you I know one of these prospects or did some scouting. I didn't bring out the radar gun and check Anthony Ionson's velocity or checked his spin rate or whatever. I don't know his repertoire. I didn't even know he existed until today, but I can read numbers. And they gave up the number 2 prospect. They gave up the number 4 prospect. They gave up their number 5 prospect, their number 17 prospect, and their catcher for Adley Rutschman. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. The Dodgers got Tarek Skubal and didn't give up a single one of their top 5 prospects. The Red Sox gave up 3 top 5 prospects in their organization and got Adley Rutschman, who I would say is less valuable than Tarek Skubal. So to me, reading this, if I trust the rankings, doesn't seem like to be that crazy of a return, no?
It's not that crazy of a return?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm saying this notion that this was the biggest steal ever for the Red Sox and the Orioles just gave him away for nothing, I feel like is a little bit naive, at least according to these prospect rankings. They got 3 of their top 5 prospects.
I mean, I'm wondering if we're reading Sean McAdam, his tweet, in a different way. I'm thinking that the Red Sox gave up a lot to get Adley.
Oh my God, Mitchell. Did I get fucking totally, am I wrong? I guess it's open for interpretation. I read this as him saying the Red Sox fleeced the Orioles.
No, I'm reading this as the Orioles fleeced the Red Sox.
I'm absolutely dumbfounded by this. This is one of the most ridiculous trades I've seen in 30 years. Yeah.
I could go both ways.
Stunned?
Actually, now that we're looking at it.
I'm stumped by this tweet. Sean McAdam, but I know that this guy is a Red Sox beat reporter. So I was assuming that he was kind of going pro Red Sox here. No, he's not. Yeah, Mass Live. So he is a Red Sox guy. Okay, so I think you're right. Wait, I don't.
I was convinced I was right, and now I'm looking at this. I'm just seeing your point of view. This is a big package for Adley, but I'm seeing it as this is ridiculous that they got away. I don't know, man. I'm seeing your perspective here.
It's open for interpretation.
I will
guys.
say, though, if we're going along the lines of this was a big overpay for Adley, he does have an extra year of control over Tarek. The Dodgers are getting Skubal for August, September, October, and possibly a few games in November. The Red Sox are getting Adley for the rest of this year once he comes off the IL and all of next year. And Adley has been a very good catcher. He's not quite reached the peaks of his rookie year, but he's still a solid defensive catcher.
An all-star this year.
Yeah, an all-star this year. I can understand the idea to go all in. Plus, the Red Sox were bidding against the Yankees. So not only is Boston going, hey, we would love to upgrade from catcher. They've been using Carlos Narvaez and Connor Wong. They're also saying, hey, we don't want our rivals to get this catcher. And they're dealing with another rival. So they're getting a catcher from a rival, and they're trying to hold him off from another rival.
This same reporter wrote a whole article about this, and I don't know if this simplifies it for you at all, but the last 2 sentences are, if Rutschman is healthy and the Red Sox successfully extend him, then maybe the deal makes some sense. For now, it appears to be a significant overpay.
Interesting.
Does that help?
Okay, so
that does help.
So that means that I read this wrong and that Mitchell read it the right way, and that he believes, or that evaluator believes, that the Red Sox are the ones who got duped. Now,
right.
I got another report from Lance Boz, Mr. Lance Brodowski, who went on Foul Territory, said, I texted someone in another front office, and he said the Orioles got duped, and that they were basically taking damaged goods in Ianson and Witherspoon, referring to 2 of the prospects sent from the Red Sox. So
it sounds like whether you believe in Rutschman or not just completely depends on how you feel about this trade.
Somebody got duped, according to anonymous sources. I will tell you this much, though. Whatever happens. As it stands right now, this is a tough pill to swallow if you're an Orioles fan. So the Orioles get rid of Rutschman, man, who was supposed to be the second coming, man. He really was supposed to be the cornerstone piece, supposed to be the prodigal son, come home, was on an Orange team in college, and then went to the Orange team in the majors, which was like beautiful. It was like written in the stars. It's like he played Oregon State. Now he's going to the Orioles. Both orange teams, both have name Oregon and Orioles start with O's, and orange starts with O. So it was like triple O. It was O's all over the place. Like it just said, oh my God, right? Like this is going to be huge for us. Hasn't turned out that way. So if you get like, a timeline of events of Adley coming to the team, if you remember correctly, they tanked in 18, they tanked in 19, they tanked in 2021. That's 300 lost seasons in 4 years. Adley comes up in 2022. Instantly, they're good. They win 83 games. 2023, 101 games, win the division. Huge deal for the Orioles to win the division that year. Next year, win 94 games, make the playoffs. Then last year in 2025, they finish in last place. And like I said earlier, the downfall needs to be studied. So what they get from Adley, after thinking he was going to save the franchise, was 2 postseason appearances and 0 postseason wins. And now they flip him for prospects.
Do you know how many innings the Orioles had a lead for in their 2 playoff appearances with Adley?
I think they tied it in the 7th inning in game 1 against the Rangers.
So in game 2 of the 2023 ALDS, they went up 2-0
against the Rangers.
The very next inning, so that was the bottom of the first. The top of the second, the Rangers scored 5 runs. Top of the third, they scored 4. They never led a game again with Adley in the playoffs.
It sucks, man. Yeah, and it's so crazy. You look at Adley's career. I mean, he came up 2022 was a beast, put up 5.4 WAR in just 113 games. Second in rookie of the year voting. The next year, still hit great. Basically put up the same season, a little bit less wins above replacement. But every year since then, he's regressed. 2024, not as good. Last year, he was his worst season, only played 90 games. But this year, he has had a little bit of a comeback, but still he's not lived up to his first 2 seasons.
To be fair to Adley, last year, he had 2 different oblique injuries. He went on the IL with an oblique injury. He missed like a month, came back, and then injured his other oblique, and then went on the IL for 2 months. And we've seen with oblique injuries as Braves fans, Drake Baldwin came back from his oblique injury, and he was one of the worst hitters in baseball for a month. So I think with Adley in 2025, that's kind of what happened, where he hit 220. This year, he's hit better than he did in 2024. He is on the IL right now, though. So.
Yeah. I mean, big name, but is it really a slam dunk for the Orioles? I'm sorry, for the Red Sox. It's almost kind of like, feels like Adley Rutschman's name might be bigger than the production, at least as of late. And like you said, injured right now. He's been on the IL 4 times in 2 seasons. It's a little rough, but either way, I mean, it's tough for the Orioles. Going into the season, I saw a tweet today. Jeff Passan said the Orioles might have the best lineup in baseball. That's going into this season. But they are flipping them. They trade him. They trade Taylor Ward. And it looks like they're focusing on next year. But you know what? Is it the worst trade ever? I mean, they got another catcher in Sam Basayo. So that was their surplus. Apparently, they had offered Adley Rutschman an extension this year or this offseason. He would not take it. So I think the Orioles, knowing that next year would be his last year under contract, also knowing that there could be a massive lockout next year and no games played, they felt that it was a no-brainer. They had no choice. They had to trade Adley.
I think also, though, if you're an Orioles fan, you got a new ownership and the Rubensteins, you had to have felt like you're getting the Steve Cohen of the AL East, and then nothing happens. You don't really spend. I mean, Pete Alonso was a big spend, but aside from Pete Alonso, in the last couple of years, have they had the big free agent signing?
No, they came in talking a big game. New Orioles ownership. They're going to spend a shit ton of money.
That guy got his own bobblehead. I wonder how many Orioles fans who went to that David Rubenstein bobblehead night.
Dork.
I wonder how many still have it and if they've destroyed it over the years.
That is actually sickening. The owner got his own bobblehead. Dave Rubenstein, the American billionaire, philanthropist, and former government official, co-founder and co-chairman of the Carlyle Group, a private equity firm based in Washington, D.C. Rubenstein is also principal owner of the Orioles.
Have you ever been to the zoo?
No.
If you go see the panda exhibit, you can see his name.
I probably have seen the zoo, but I don't remember it. Listen, Rubenstein, if you don't start spending less money on the fucking pandas and put more money into the freaking lineup, us Orioles fans, we're going to have a problem. Now, this is just a warning. We're going to see how this trade works out. But if you don't get us a panda in the stadium, at least bring some fucking animals to the stadium. If you're going to have a below average team, under 500, out of a playoff spot, and you're going to sell the deadline, bring a giraffe to Camden Yards. That could, we can meet in the middle somewhere.
Let them play.
I even seen an Oriole there. Bring in some birds, man.
Joey still hasn't seen his first Oriole.
No, I'm looking every day.
I haven't either. I didn't even know an Oriole was a bird last season.
I know. I see how much you've grown. The brain has expanded.
Now I know all the birds.
Name 5 birds.
Cardinal, Oriole, pigeon, eagle. Well, how many is that? 4?
It's 4.
And a dove.
I really thought he was just going to list off the baseball teams, and then he hit us with the pigeon.
I started panicking.
Yeah, he
started freaking out and said
hit a
pigeon.
roadblock.
Didn't even say seagull.
No, you can keep going. Keep going.
Pterodactyl.
Name a fish.
Bass.
Wrong. The answer was Rays, the Tampa Bay Rays. Jack's Rays. Stay in first place, 2.5 games above the Yankees. And they do something that we're not used to. They add at the deadline. They get Freddie Peralta, which damn near might as well be Babe Ruth in terms of Tampa Bay Rays deadline moves. Freddie Peralta goes to the Rays. Already have the 5th best starting pitching staff in baseball, and they add Freddie Peralta. Now, this kind of reminds me of the Brewers trade, where you get Dustin May in the Brewers organization, and man, he turns into an ace because the Brewers know how to turn pitchers into pitchers. The Rays also know how to get the most out of their guys. Freddie Peralta, who we've seen been a beast throughout his career, has not been a beast with the Mets. And can you blame him? I mean, no one's a beast with the Mets. Everyone goes to the Mets and they suck. The opposite effect happens when you go to the Rays. So last year with the Brewers, had the best year of his career, 5.5 WAR, 17 wins, led the league, had a 3.64 FIP and a 2.70 ERA. So that wasn't that long ago, Mitchell, when he was 5th in Cy Young voting and an All-Star. Now he's going to the Rays, who are already the 5th ranked starting pitching staff in baseball. And I got to say, man, this makes you feel, Jack, how does this make you feel as a Rays fan?
It doesn't.
Doesn't, man. You just that means, like, why doesn't it not make you feel like as a Rays fan?
I guess I don't really know if I know enough yet to understand how these trades are affecting these teams.
It's good. You could just lie, though.
I feel really good about it.
Good.
I mean, I'm impressed with the Rays. I'm looking forward to next season being a diehard Rays fan.
Who do you like more right now, the Rays or the Marlins?
The Rays. I haven't liked the Marlins since I bought that hat.
Okay, so you're off the Marlins.
If we're being honest, I like the running bit of Jack's teams all being just whatever teams you guys don't pay attention to, really. But yeah, I feel like out of Florida teams, it's the Rays right now for me.
Well, Liam Hicks was on your Marlins. Now he's on your Rays.
Keep it in-house.
So that's got to be a little conflicting from your perspective. But
Second year in a row, the Marlins sent their catcher to Tampa Bay. They sent Nick Fortes last year.
Little suspicious, if you ask me. But, the catching Miami to Tampa catching pipeline is alive and well. And the Rays' playoff chances are alive and well. And their odds to win the division are alive and well. The Red Sox make the biggest splash in the division, but they don't do nothing. They also had Tyler Wells, which I could have sworn was a guy on the Rays before, but that was Tyler Walls. Who was Walls?
Taylor Walls.
The fuck,
Their
dude?
shortstop. I didn't realize they had
Bro,
such similar
You
names.
can't have a guy named Tyler Wells and a guy named Taylor Walls play the same fucking sport and then also be like on the same teams. Who the fuck is Tyler Wells?
Tyler Wells, So I was confusing him with one of the Australian twins who also pitch.
Australian twins.
They played for Team Australia this year. I think their last name is Wells as well.
Dude.
But this is not that guy. It's he's a reliever with a 2.67 ERA. He's been pretty good. He came back last year, I think, from an injury, but
Bro,
Yeah,
don't even fucking joke around. The Tampa Bay Rays right now have a guy named Taylor Walls is on the Rays still.
yeah, he's a shortstop.
Tyler Wells and Taylor Walls are on the same team right now. How did this not get vetoed, bro? This is going to confuse people. There's going to be kids at these games and they're going to be pissed. They're going to think they're buy a Tyler Wells jersey and get a Tyler Walls jersey. That's not even the right name. They're going to think they're going to get a Tyler. I'm going to buy a Tyler Walls jersey, Tyler Wells jersey. And then you accidentally get a Taylor Walls jersey. Now who's the asshole now?
Yeah, so the guys I was confusing Tyler Wells for is Alex Wells, who used to play for the Orioles, and Lachlan Wells, who now plays for the LG Twins. There's a lot of Wells and Walls going around here.
Oh my fucking God. Wait, never mind.
They've met before too.
Well,
Tyler Walls went 1 for 5 with a single against Tyler Wells.
not to be confused with Austin Wells, who's the catcher.
The Yankees should have traded him.
Listen, if the Rays really want to fucking make a splash this year, you go call the Yankees and you get Austin Wells on the team, and you get Tyler Wells, Taylor Walls, and Austin Wells. And who's the guy from Australia?
They're twin brothers, Alex and Lachlan.
Wait, who are the twins?
Alex Wells and Lachlan Wells.
But they're not in the major leagues.
Alex did make the major leagues.
But he's out.
He used to play for the Orioles.
So he's a free agent.
He's a free agent.
Race.
And then his brother Lachlan plays for the KBO team, the LG Twins.
Wow. So Tyler and Taylor, dude, they also could not be. Tyler Wells, this guy who the Rays just got, 6'8", 270 pounds. Taylor Wells, fucking god damn it, dude. Taylor Walls, who the Rays already had, 5'9", 185 pounds. So despite their names being almost the same, they are very paradoxically opposed in terms of height and weight.
Wells is long and skinny. Tyler Walls, a little shorter, a little thicker.
You'd think that Walls would be the tall one because he's big and tall, like a
Wells
wall.
or
And Wells would be the short.
what's a well but just a long ass wall, you know?
What? A long ass walls and a
A
well?
well is just a long ass wall. Goes
Yeah,
underground.
it's a circular wall.
I'm making connections. I'm putting the pieces together. I think the listeners are really going to appreciate it.
You're never beating the allegations.
The allegations of being a freaking deadbeat stoner.
Fuck you, first of all.
I didn't say
People
it.
think you're a stoner too.
They can think what they want.
At least
bro.
I actually am a stoner. You're just you just give off the vibe.
They can think what they want, man. Let's do a brand deal for GLD, baby. Oh, my chain came off a little bit. Fuck. Well, maybe adjust it real quick because it's going to take me a while to redo this. So bear with me. But this podcast is sponsored by our favorite jeweler at GLD.com, which if you guys have been tuning in all year, you know I've been rocking my chain all year because it's sleek and cool and it fits with every damn outfit, man. And if you like looking good, then you're going to want to add a little bit of blang to your wardrobe. That's GLD.com, baby, to get your brand new chain. You've seen it on the field, man. You know how baseball players get super particular about their gear. The glove has to feel right. The cleats have to feel right. The bat has to feel right. A lot of you guys are baseball players. You know what we're talking about. The chain also has to feel right. Once you find something you love, it becomes part of your everyday lineup. That's exactly how I feel about my chain, my GLD chain, which I'm rocking every damn day. You already got your go-to sneakers, your favorite hoodie, that fitted hat you wear nonstop, but most of you guys are still missing the finishing piece. That's your chain. That's where GLD comes in. GLD makes one-of-a-kind pieces that become part of your everyday lineup. It's not something you wear once in a while. It's just clean, quality jewelry that instantly upgrades your fit the second you throw it on. Once you add a GLD chain to your rotation, it is game over. This isn't the cheap stuff, baby. GLD uses real gold. Every stone is hand set, and the quality is on a completely different level. You can see it immediately and definitely feel it when you put it on. As you can see, this ain't none of that bullshit. This is that real stuff. This is the GLD chain. If you're a baseball fan, one of the coolest parts of their lineup is its officially licensed MLB collection. They got pendants, chains, bracelets, even shoelace charms, featuring official team logos. So whether you're a Yankees fan, Dodgers fan, Cubs fan, Padres fan, or whoever you rep, they got your team covered. So go to GLD.com, baby. You will be joining good company. Over 50,000 five-star reviews. Justin Bieber's rocked them. Malik Neighbors has rocked them. Micah Parsons rocked them. ASAP Rocky rocks them. Plenty more rock them. BDE rocks them. What else do you need to know, motherfuckers? Sorry for cursing. Load up your lineup with GLD. For limited time only, new customers are getting an insane deal. Use code PDE at GLD.com and get 40% off. That is 40% off with code PDE at GLD.com. After your purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. And thanks again to GLD for sponsoring. Go get your chain now and start looking fly, man. You deserve it. They got Yankees chains. And boy, you're going to need a Yankee chain for the playoffs because this team is going to the playoffs. Yankees, this week, they split a series with the White Sox. Then they go to Chicago. And what do? Bing bong, 2 out of 3 against Chicago. What do they do to add on to that? They make some additions. So the Yankees since June 1st ranked 28th in OPS, not great. 30th in average, not great. It's actually the worst in the league. Worst in the league in on-base percentage and 25th in slugging. So since June 1st, around the time that Aaron Judge left the team with his little toe problem. No, what is his problem? Side?
Rib.
Ew. He's got a rib problem. They've sucked at offense. So what do? They add Luis Garcia Jr. and they add Helio Ramos. So Luis Garcia Jr., infielder, and Helio Ramos, an outfielder. Now, I did see an update about Judge today that did concern me. Let's find it. It was from Cashman. He says that Judge, we currently are very optimistic that he's going to return. But there's challenges with all of that too. There's a very high likelihood that he fits the time frame to come back and join us. That's what I'm hoping and holding on to, which makes me think there's a chance he doesn't come back at all. Because I didn't really think that was kind of the debate on whether or not come back. I thought the debate was when he's going to come back, but now they're asking him if he's going to come back, and he says, I think he's going to come back. So does that not seem concerning to you, Mitchell?
I think that's very concerning.
Very concerning.
It's one of those, injury. It's like with the Red Sox when they're like, oh, Garrett Crochet, he's only going to be out a couple of weeks, and we don't know if Gary Crochet has touched a baseball in months now.
Yeah, he could be dead.
Oh, Roman Anthony, his wrist he needs a little bit of a rest. Oh, he can't actually swing a bat. It's one of those updates.
Yeah, so we're praying for the Yankees to get Judge back because that's going to be a big X factor for them. But nonetheless, they do add 2 bats, 2 big offensive players. At least Luis Garcia Jr. led the National League in slugging, and Helio Ramos, I don't know what he's doing this year, but last year was probably the Giants' best hitter.
So Ramos has been about a league average hitter. He has a 104 OPS plus, but he's not a free agent until 2030.
So I was wrong. It was 2 years ago where Helio Ramos had his great year where he had a 124 OPS plus, but the last 2 years about a league average bat. Got some depth for the Yankees. So not the big Yankees trade deadline that some of their fans would have hoped for, but it is what it is. I still would put them ahead of the Red Sox in terms of roster construction at the moment. So that makes you feel good. You get the BDE guarantee. But if Judge doesn't come back, throw that all out the window. We'll keep an eye on Judge. The Blue Jays, however, last place Blue Jays, have a weird deadline. They trade Kevin Gausman. He's going to the Cubs. They trade Dalton Varsho. They also trade Jeff Hoffman, but they get Jose Soriano from the Angels as a starter. They get Jamison Tyone, who got DFA'd, and they get Josh Smith. Also, they get Spencer Arrighetti. My chain came off, and I don't want to mess with it right now. So,
just for those listening, he didn't put it on right. The chain is fine.
The chain is fine. Well, we'll have to wait to put this back on because the fans need to know about the Blue Jays, who also traded for Spencer Arrighetti. So they definitely sell, but they don't break down the entire team. As it stands right now, they are last place. I guess they still have a chance to make the playoffs if they get hot, but the fucking Blue Jays, man. Not a great season so far. What's your outlook on the Blue Jays, Mitch?
I mean, I really don't understand the Jose Soriano trade.
It was weird, right?
Yeah, I saw reports that even after the Blue Jays acquired him, other teams are calling the Blue Jays saying, hey, you want to trade Soriano? So I'm not sure what the plan is. I mean, I get trading Gausman. He's a free agent at the end of the year. Soriano has years of team control. Varsho, I believe, is also a free agent at the end of the year. So you're just kind of clearing space. I'm surprised they didn't trade Springer. That seemed like a guy they might move on from.
Yeah.
Same thing with Scherzer. Although I don't know how many people were that interested in Scherzer. And then, Jamison Tyone, you just need guys to throw innings, and added bonus of him being Canadian.
It is funny. Their rotation is like right now as healthy as it's been all year. Dylan Cease he's pitched all year. Max Scherzer's back. Bieber's back, even though he had a terrible start. Didn't he walk 6 batters in the first inning against the Nats?
Yeah, he walked 6 batters, didn't make it out of the first.
Fuck. Trey Savage is healthy, and Jorge Soriano is in town. So, listen, if it's time to make a comeback, it's going to start now, guys. We got to come back now. It's now or never.
Have you seen the stat on Vladdy for the Blue Jays?
No.
He hasn't hit a homer since August of last year at the Rogers Center. He has a .303 slugging at home this year.
Ooh. Investigate the Rogers Center. 303 slugging. Yeah, that's worse than, what was this, Chandler Simpson?
I mean, yeah, it's worse than Chandler Simpson, but Vladdy is like, a bad game away from having a slugging under 300 at home.
Jesus Christ. Yikes. So, but this is a big trade they made a trade with the Astros, and the Astros, don't look now, have emerged as not only a playoff team, but a division winner. They sweep the Angels. They sweep the Rangers. They win 6 in a row. They've won 11 of their last 12 games. They have the second best record in baseball since the All-Star break. Jeremy Pena is the best player in baseball since the All-Star break. He has 7 home runs in 14 games. And Yordan Alvarez, I don't have to tell you this, but he's the 3rd best player in baseball since the All-Star break. He's probably the best player all year, other than a few guys. Maybe Ohtani, maybe PCA is better, but he's been the best hitter all year. They're both hitting over 400 since the All-Star break, and they have the 20th best starting pitching staff in MLB since the All-Star break. So while they've been the hottest team in the world, their pitching staff still ranks 20th. On the year, their starting pitching staff ranks 28th. What do they do at the deadline? They add no starting pitching at all. In fact, they actually trade a starting pitcher. They get rid of a starting pitcher. Dalton Varsho comes to the Astros for Spencer Arrighetti, and the Astros don't really do much, but they're still hot, and now they are 2.5 games up in first place. They went from being in 3rd place 2 games back to being 2.5 games up in 1 week. So shout out to the Astros. I don't know what they're going to do. I think they're probably thinking about selling for most of the first half. What are we going to do at the deadline? All of a sudden, they're hot as fuck. And they kind of were like, I don't know what we do. So they kind of did nothing. They added an outfielder, which didn't really seem like what they needed at all. But they got Dalton Varsho, and now they're stuck with still one of the worst pitching staffs in baseball. Luckily, they are in the AL Central, and the teams they're competing with really didn't do much either. So the Rangers seemed like they wanted to sell. They got swept by the Astros this week, which really hurt their chances to win the division. Of course, a lot of season left. They're just 2.5 games back. But DeGrom, Eovaldi, and Rocker got shelled this week. Gave up 14 runs in 13 2/3 innings. There was a bunch of reports about the Rangers trying to off-sell. They were looking to move Corey Seager, looking to move DeGrom, looking to move Nathan Eovaldi, according to Rosenthal. The Rangers were willing to listen for Wyatt Langford, according to Joel Sherman. They didn't move any of those guys. They actually acquired Logan O'Hoppe and Chase, how do you say that? Silseth?
That's how I would say it.
They acquired some guys. Apparently, they tried to trade DeGrom, and DeGrom vetoed their ass. And they end up acquiring Josh Smith. Sorry, they don't acquire. They get rid of Josh Smith, but they don't really do anything. They kind of keep the same guys, don't make any big moves. Everyone thought they were going to sell. They didn't sell. They kind of stay the same in a division that is pretty mid. And then you got the Mariners, 28th in runs. Everyone knows they need bats, and they get some bats. They get Taylor Ward from the Orioles. They get Nolan Jones, who's been in the minor leagues all year. He had a great season 2 years ago. They also get Sir Anthony Dominguez in exchange for Luis Castillo. So end of an era for Luis Castillo. That trade makes a little bit of sense because the Mariners have a plethora of starting pitching, kind of too much for a team that has a big need in hitters. So they trade one of them, and they get back a reliever in exchange for that. You would have hoped probably some more hitting, except, if you look at their lineup, they actually do have a pretty good lineup. They just have underperformed all year. So
I also think the acquisition for Boston Smith is a really interesting one. Boston Smith was traded by the Nationals this March for Curtis Mead, and then he's had a really nice time in the minor leagues. I believe his OPS this year, is over 1,000. So he has a OPS over 1,000 between low A, high A, and double A. He is a catcher and an outfielder. So I think, you trade Castillo, who hasn't had the best of years. You get a reliever. You get, some depth at the outfield. But then you get a prospect who's really broken out this year, too, for a guy who hasn't pitched that well.
So you like the deadline for the Mariners?
I mean, I'm sure the Mariners could have done more, but they're also in this position where they're in third place. They haven't played up to their potential. I don't know if you're Seattle, how all in you want to go.
It just blows my mind. A lineup of Randy Arozarena, Julio Rodriguez, Josh Naylor, Cal Raleigh is 28th in runs, 29th in average.
Yeah, I don't either.
Pretty shocking.
I don't think, this trade, it didn't make them worse in the present. And I think it serves them better in the future.
No, yeah. You didn't need all those starters. That was their weakness was that they had too many good starters.
And then they traded their worst one, so.
Yeah. Okay. Angels and Athletics, don't care. Don't even want to talk about them. Those are the last two teams in that division who traded away what they could, which was
questionably. I don't think the Athletics did anything.
Yeah, Athletics, they just chilled out. They've been
so bad lately.
Yeah. Worst team in baseball.
Over the last month and a half, Jack, they've won 7 games. Could you imagine living through that?
To be honest, I was laughing at something else.
You're laughing at the 20 Athletics fans' pain.
Part of what I'm laughing at is how often it says angles instead of angels in our document, like half the time.
It's a tough word to spell, man. Angles in the outfield. It's the new movie. Angles in the outfield. All right, so last two teams, probably my biggest shock. I don't even know why I'm saying this. My biggest shock. Was it my biggest shock? I don't know, but I'm a little surprised, at least, that the Padres did what they did. The Padres, who have been pretty all year, have a great week. So the Padres, they win 3 out of 4 against the Giants. They sweep a 2-game series against the Rockies. All of a sudden, the Padres are hot. They move one game back of a wild card spot. The reports were going into the deadline that Mason Miller would be on the move. He was not on the move, and they acquire 2 starting pitchers. So the Padres are really going for it this year, which was a big question mark with the new ownership and whatnot. Are the Padres going to be all in? And this is a classic Padres trade deadline, honestly. Like, they go for 2 guys, and Robbie Ray and Casey Mize, who have both been Cy Young quality pitchers at certain points in their career. Robbie Ray has a Cy Young, doesn't he?
He does.
He does. And does Casey Mize have one? No, but I'm sure he got votes at one point.
I don't know if Mize has been healthy enough.
but now he is. Maybe this is the year Casey Mize wins the Cy Young. Probably not, but he was an all-star last year, and this year he's got a freaking 2.70 ERA, right? So the Padres, like, I'm actually so surprised that the Padres did this. This might be, I mean, if you had to rank them in the biggest splash of the all-season, of the trade deadline, I think you go Dodgers, number one. You go, they outdid the Phillies. I like these two, adding two starters beats a rise. The Boston Red Sox add Rutschman. This beats that, I would say. Two frontline starters.
You put it over the Cubs?
You might have to put it over the Cubs. I mean, Casey Mize and Robbie Ray. Yet the Cubs got Gosman. Who else? Combs. And who's the third?
I'm blanking.
There was only 70 trades today. You don't remember this?
No, they got a reliever. No, they got Garrett. Braxton Garrett.
The point is, yeah, I mean, Casey Mize and Robbie Ray, would you rather have them or Gosman and Clay?
So I'm going to be honest. When the Padres got Robbie Ray, I was like, the Padres are done with pitching.
Yeah,
like, it didn't even occur to me that they could get any other pitcher. And then at 6:02 p.m., I don't know who tweeted it, but it was Casey Mize to the Padres. That shocked me.
Yeah. Shout out to the fucking Padres. 4 games above 500, 1 game out of a playoff spot. They had big at the deadline, 2 frontline starters, which is what they need. And if you look at this rotation now, it's Michael King. He's a really good pitcher. It's Robbie Ray. He's been a really good pitcher. He's, over the last 14 days, the 15th best pitcher in the league. I don't even, what's his ERA on the year? Has Robbie Ray had a good season? He diced the Braves up, I think, twice.
He was actually pretty bad before that. So he has a 3.08 ERA, but he started calling his own pitches in mid-June.
Woo!
It was one of those things that the Giants didn't really like their catching staff. They traded Patrick Bailey. They didn't like how the new catchers were calling pitches, and they go to the veterans and they say, "Hey, you can just call your pitches." Him and Logan Webb started calling their own pitches. That was the month that Webb won Pitcher of the Month. And since June 16, Robbie Ray has a 1.09 ERA.
There you go. So you got Michael King, you got Robbie Ray in there. You got Casey Mize in there. That's your top 3 starters. And then you got Giolito. I mean, Musgrove. He got Tommy John in 2024. Is there a chance? I don't know. Nick Pivetta. I don't know. I don't know what the injury status of Giolito, Musgrove, Pivetta is. Maybe they come back. Maybe they don't. I'm going to plead ignorance on that. But either way, your top 3 starting pitchers being Michael King, Robbie Ray, and Casey Mize. It's pretty damn good and not bad in a playoff series. So shout out to the Padres who won't go down without a fight. And then you got the Arizona Diamondbacks who also have gotten hot. Oh my God, didn't even know this happened. They got Lars Nootbaar. Wow. So the Diamondbacks 14-6 since July 6th, best record in baseball since July 6th. Playoff odds are up to 44%. Currently, they're in a playoff spot. So the Diamondbacks have clawed their way back. I shouldn't say clawed their way back. They weren't that far out. But the Diamondbacks have gotten hot going into the deadline, and they get Lars Nootbaar in there. Respect it. They didn't do jack shit else, but they didn't trade anybody. So don't sleep on the Diamondbacks either.
One complaint from Diamondbacks fans was that they needed, like the Braves, they needed starting pitching, and they did not add starting pitching. Lars Nootbaar, he's got the name value. Overall, he hasn't been that great this year. He's probably underperformed a little bit, but he's been a below average hitter by OPS plus.
But they're going to get a big Japanese fan base, so that helps the organization. Big bump in Japanese viewership. It's kind of why you make the play. Trying to compete with the Dodgers. Imagine if a lot of Dodgers fans right now are probably thinking, a lot of Japanese fans.
We need to jump ship from this utopia.
Yeah, now we got a Japanese guy in the division. We might need, Lars Nootbaar. I mean, everyone knows that was my NL Central team, and now they're in the NL West. And my NL West team might have to switch from the Dodgers to the Diamondbacks. They're going after the Kings. What's a king without a crown? But yeah, you're right. That was their need, was starting pitching. I mean, they do have Mitch Bratt and Cole Drake, who they traded for in July last season. Both have 0 MLB service time, and I've never heard of either of them, but they are in the starting rotation right They will be facing the Padres this week. 4-game series for the battle for second place. The Padres versus the Diamondbacks. And that puts a bow on the trade deadline episode. There's anything else you want to get off your chest?
You want to run through some Discord questions?
Yeah, sure.
Harmless says, could you all make contact on a pitch from the Miz?
No.
Yeah, hard no.
I probably could, but those two, no.
We need to see you on a what are they called? Traject machines?
Yeah, I watched one guy on TikTok who has one that has the screen and it'll show Miz doing it.
I want to get one of those and have Jack's pitches on them, and then upload them so that you're in the database, so that anyone with one of those machines, all the major league teams are able to.
Yeah, it's just it's just if you want to practice getting hit by a pitch at 23 miles an hour.
That would be sick if you could hack the system and start putting you could have I don't know,
Spider-Man,
Hitler, whoever it is.
Ooh.
You just you get funny with it, you get trolly with it. Let's put Theodore Roosevelt in the pitch track machines, and then the major leaguers are going against fucking Hermione.
I think I could catch
Hogwarts.
one off Hitler. I don't know about Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah, definitely. Teddy Roosevelt's got better heat than Hitler, but apparently Teddy Roosevelt was the last president not to like baseball.
Yeah, wasn't he a big baseball hater?
I saw that graphic. I'm sure we saw the same thing.
Yeah.
He said it wasn't violent enough.
I think if anyone has access to a traject machine and they want to invite us down, I'll accept that on behalf of Joey's. And we'll go.
Yeah, please get Mitchell over to the pitching machine ASAP.
Hinzo says, what's the plan for the off season? I need my Tuesday ritual. He's referring to the
We'll
podcast.
see when the off season might be a little long this year. Off season might be the new season.
We might be doing a PDE season on the MPB, depending on how things go.
Maybe we'll just do an episode every day this off season.
All right. And what would save the Phillies bullpen?
Probably better pitchers. What would save the Phillies bullpen? I would say better pitchers, or have the pitchers already in the Phillies bullpen pitch better. Or you take some of the starters, you put them in the bullpen. If you put Zach Wheeler in the bullpen, that automatically makes the bullpen better. 100%, that would make the bullpen better.
That is such a flawless plan.
It's something you consider if you're a Phillies fan.
I threw in there during the episode what 3 teams had the best trade deadline. Only got one response, so we're going to read it. Tyler, Cubs, Red Sox, Dodgers.
Tyler, I like what you have to say there. Cubs, he said Cubs, Red Sox, Dodgers. I'm actually going to take the Red Sox out of that, and I'm going to add the Guardians.
Yeah, as far as just trade deadline.
I think the Guardians, if I'm a White Sox fan, I know you're feeling good. The biggest lead of the season so far. Watch out for the Guardians. They have a way of making pitchers better, and they got Foster Griffin, and he's already been good. Also, 2 bats. That's what they needed. I like what the Guardians did there.
I think that's it for now.
All right, y'all. But if you guys want to ask questions for next episode, we will be back on Monday. Go to the Discord. I guess I don't know how Discord, but you got to click a link to get a Discord, right? You have to be invited. This is an exclusive club. You have to be invited. And how do you get invited is you click the link. Now, we will put the link in the description.
It's actually in our YouTube description, so it's just there all the time. So if you look at the top of the video, there's the social media icons. Discord's one of them. Click on that. It'll be like, do you want to join this Discord? And if you don't have a Discord, I think it's just like a free email sign-up situation. And we don't email you. We don't give a shit about that. We just want to hear your question.
I will email you.
Joey will email you.
Well, we're going to put it in the description as well, right?
We can, but I'm saying it's there all the time.
All the time, every
day.
day.
It's showing it right here.
You know, that, but my problem with that is that could be deceiving.
Sure. I mean, I can put it in there, but we can only pin so many things. I mean, to put it in the description, yeah, I can do that.
Let's put it in the description as well, just so, because I know a lot of our fans, no offense, guys, some of you guys are a little slow. and you don't really think critically, and sometimes you lose the plot on things, and it doesn't make you a bad person. It just makes you kind of, you might need 2 Discord links in order to find the Discord. But if you're a Discord person, get in the Discord and just start chatting it up, dude. Let's just our Discord, we keep it light, we keep it tight, and Jack is a little bit of a censor in there, and he does want to put some rules in place and what you can and cannot say.
I'm an oppressor.
He will oppress some people and hinder your freedom of speech. If that happens, hit me up, hit my line, email me, because we got to also keep Jack in check. But I think he has complete control over the Discord. Because if you're worst, you're last. Exactly. Anyway, that is all for this week. Unless there's anything else you guys want to say.
That was a very active trade deadline. I felt like every 20 seconds was a new trade.
I agree. And you know what? I was a little surprised because, with all the teams in contention, I thought there might be a little bit of a logjam. No one wants to make any moves. Everyone's going to keep all their players because everyone's in it. But a lot of trades. The baseball landscape has changed today, and it may never be the same. That is all. We'll see you next time.